Chapter 7:15. There's too much bad news about you, so you should lay low for a while. The company won't mistreat you, Chin Chu said faintly. President Chin, those rumors are fake, they're just smearing my reputation. Those women at Imperial Star hate me, so they hired people to smear me. It's not true, you have to believe me. I'm sorry, this is private time, let's not talk about work. Chin Chu couldn't take it anymore and directly rejected Annie Liang's words. Annie Liang glanced at Huamin, then turned around and left. She didn't forget to mumble quietly, I thought the president had good taste, but it seems like he's not that good. Upon hearing this, Chin Chu furrowed his brows. He took out his phone and was about to make a call when Huamin immediately reached out and stopped him. Honey, forget it, you know what I want to do. You want to freeze Annie Liang. Of course, Huamin knew what Chin Chu wanted to do. He would protect her, and no one would be able to bully her. Huamin heard what Annie Liang said, and so did Chin Chu. People like her should be frozen, we spend a lot of money to buy her. If we freeze her, our money would be wasted. Impulsiveness is the devil. Huamin didn't care what other people said about her. As long as it didn't cross her bottom line, she would tolerate it. Plus, Annie Liang was signed by GK for 90 million yuan when they were fighting with Su Yu. If they just froze her, it would be a huge loss. Honey, aren't you jealous of how cheap she was just now? Chin Chu looked at Huamin with admiration. What's there to be jealous of? A lot of actresses are like that. People in the entertainment industry aren't simple. If I had such a fragile heart, I would have jumped off a building a long time ago. So you don't love me anymore? Chin Chu pretended to be depressed. No. Then if you love me, can you take the initiative tonight? Fuck. Here we go again. Mr. Chin, can you stop setting traps for your wife? Huamin felt that he had to be careful when talking to Chin Chu in the future, because he could set a trap for him at any time. By the time the two of them finished their hot pot, it was already late. Hubby, let's go watch a movie. Are there any good films recently? Yes, I want to watch, so you're here too, Huamin said slowly from the front passenger seat. Okay, you can watch whatever you want. The two of them went to the movie theater. To their surprise, Huamin didn't book the entire theater. Instead, the two of them sat quietly in the last row. It was dark, and there were quite a lot of people. Both the male and female leads were very pleasing to the eye. In fact, what Huamin was watching was not a movie, but youth. Huamin had read this novel a few years ago. It was a story similar to theirs. Su Yunjin and Qingzheng were also high school classmates. Later, they fell in love with each other, then separated, and finally got back together. People said that the feelings in elementary school were childish, the feelings in middle school were ignorant, and the feelings in high school were pure love. It was because at that time, people were mature and had their own outlook on life, values, and the world. Once you decided on someone you liked, you really liked that person. It didn't involve any fake or other factors. It wouldn't change because of material things. After entering college, many people would look at their boyfriend's family background. Did he have an RV? Was his father Li Gang? When looking for a girlfriend, people would look at her appearance, clothes, and bust size. What a realistic society. Huamin felt lucky that he met Chin Chu in high school, when they were young and inexperienced. It was an era when people would get married if they held hands, but now it was an era where nothing would happen even if they slept together. It had only been 7 years. It seemed that the world was changing. Many things couldn't go back. The only thing that didn't change was their past, all the good things in those years. On the way back, Huamin fell asleep in the front passenger seat. Chin Chu received a call from Rick. Chin, is it convenient to talk? I have something important to tell you. Rick's tone was serious. Tell me now. Chin-Chu put on his earphones. Chapter 7:16. The incident in Dong Tao Town that you've been asking me to investigate, how is it? Are there any results? Chin-Chu was a bit anxious. This was the only thing he cared about the most, because it was Huamin's wish. Huamin's biggest wish right now was to find his biological parents. It's very complicated, I don't know how to explain it to you. Rick's tone was heavy. It's fine, go ahead. If it's possible, I suggest that you stop investigating it. Why? Chin-Chu was a bit doubtful. He knew Rick's ability, and he wouldn't say something that he wasn't confident in. Because none of the people I sent to investigate this incident came back. They're all dead. I don't know if they're dead or not, but I can't contact them. But you know what we're doing, once we lose contact, we're doomed. How could that be? Chin-Chu frowned slightly. Huamin's background was far more complicated than he thought. Ever since he went to Dong Tao Town and witnessed Uncle Yang's death, he knew that things weren't as simple as they seemed. But he didn't expect things to be so complicated. It was just a nameless town, what kind of terrifying mastermind was behind it? Even though I didn't find any useful clues, I can tell you that Dong Tao Town isn't as simple as it seems. There are a lot of spies there, and anyone who tries to investigate will be found out by the mastermind behind it. We're in the open, and the mastermind is in the dark, so we're in danger. Also, I don't think there's just one mastermind behind this, there's probably someone else involved. Anyways, the water is very deep. I've contacted the local boss, and we're quite close. He told me that the incident in Dong Tao Town has become a supernatural incident, and the mastermind behind it is even more powerful than a ghost. He told me to give up. How could that be? So I'm thinking that your wife's background might be very troublesome. Even if we find her, it might not be a good thing, so we might as well give up. Alright, I understand. Lin Fan nodded. But it's fine, if you want to continue investigating, I'll continue to help you. Rick didn't tell Chin-Chu that he had already lost 9 people to investigate this incident. But Chin-Chu was so smart. Judging from his tone, it was impossible for him not to know. Even someone as powerful as Rick had died there. Looks like Dong Tao Town isn't that simple after all. Are there really ghosts in this world? Of course not. Sometimes, humans are scarier than ghosts. Conspiracies were even more creepy than supernatural occurrences. Chin-Chu hung up the phone with a heavy heart. This matter seemed to be extremely dangerous, but he could not give up. She had to find Huamin's family at all costs. He loved her so much that he was willing to fulfill all her dreams in this world. Just like that young man who stood on the podium and told everyone that his dream was to fulfill Huamin's dream. What others thought was a joke was actually Chin-Chu's lifelong promise to Huamin. Mian, don't worry. No matter how dangerous it is, I won't give up on finding your biological parents. Huamin's closed eyelashes fluttered slightly, she wasn't asleep. She heard Chin-Chu and Rick's conversation on the phone. Although she couldn't hear what Rick said, from Chin-Chu's conversation, she could tell that something had happened in Dong Tao Town. Huamin wasn't stupid. She knew that Dong Tao Town wasn't a simple town. But even so, Chin-Chu was still willing to investigate for her. She couldn't help but be moved. The next morning at GK headquarters, Yang held a large stack of bills. Sir, this is the bill from yesterday's movie and TV company. Please sign it. 80,000 yuan. Eat, drink, and play. Eat, sing, and go to the sauna. Who gave them the guts to ask the company for reimbursement? Chin-Chu was furious. President Ning said that a young lady approved it. Yang was also very nervous. When he received the bill, he had been wondering if the president would approve it. Chapter 717. My wife. Chin Chu froze slightly. Assistant Yang nodded and repeated President Ning's words to him. Chin Chu knew that no matter how brave Ning Dan was, she wouldn't dare to impersonate his wife and cheat him out of 80,000 yuan. Therefore, Chin Chu quietly picked up his pen, waved his hand, and signed. Once again, Assistant Yang understood how important a young lady was to the president, how capricious. A young lady, with one sentence, made the people at film and television spend 80,000 yuan on a night of entertainment. Then, the CFO came in with a receipt. Sir, this is from Ni Yang's manager and Nimo Shue's manager. They said that a young lady promised them dinner and a place to stay last night. Chin Chu took the receipt and saw that it was another 100,000 yuan. He didn't say anything and signed without hesitation. His husband seemed to be a professional at cheating his husband. He was so generous to his employees. After everyone left, Chin Chu took out his phone and video called Huamian. Huamian had just changed into his white lab coat and was about to do his ward rounds. Hello, Mr. Chin. Honey, you're so generous. Because of your permission last night, I just signed a 180,000 yuan expense receipt. 180,000. That's a lot. These people are such scammers. That's why I'm going to deduct it from your allowance this month. I don't think so. I'm doing this for the good of the company. Water can carry a boat, but it can also sink it. You have to understand that. I only know that water can carry a boat, but it can also cook porridge, Chin Chu said in all seriousness. Ha! Honey, don't make me laugh so early in the morning. Okay, I have to go do my ward rounds. After speaking, Huamian quickly hung up, then, Chin Chu received a WeChat red packet. If he remembered correctly, this was the first time that his wife sent him a red packet. Although it was only 52. 1 yuan, what she said was heartwarming. Honey, I love you, 180,000 yuan is nothing. Alright. Using your 50 yuan to settle 180,000, my wife, you're really smart. After checking the rooms, Huamian prepared to organize the database. Suddenly, there was a knock on the office door. Please come in. Why are you here? Huamian raised his head and panicked when he saw who it was. Wasn't this person Su Yu's mother? The first lady of Sea City was said to have a higher status than the mayor's wife. Miss, do you have time to chat? Please take a seat. Huamian didn't know what to do. He got up and poured a cup of tea for Lady Su. Thank you. Auntie, what can I do for you? Huamian was a little nervous. Because of Lady Chin's precedent, Huamian was a little afraid of his elders, especially his mother's generation. Don't be scared, I was just passing by. Oh right, I bought you some snacks. Then, Lady Su handed him a lunchbox. Huamian glanced at it and saw that it was full of exquisite pastries. Auntie, if you have something to say, just say it. It's really nothing, I just came to check on you. Auntie. Su Yu and I really aren't. Huamian anxiously explained. I know, you're married, not bad at all. You're the young president of GK. Lady Su smiled. You know about it? Yeah, I didn't know at first, but after I went back, I accidentally saw some news and found out. Oh. He didn't need to say it, since Lady Su already knew, he should be fine. Is it hard to work at the hospital? It's not hard, I'm used to it. It's good, in fact, some people only like glamorous jobs that make a lot of money. But if you like your career and your value is reflected, you'll do better. Thank you for the compliment, Auntie. Huamian still wasn't used to it. After all, when Su Yu was hospitalized, Lady Su got angry once and scared all the nurses out of room 1. Therefore, in front of Lady Su, who was as gentle as water, Huamin didn't dare to slight her. "Miss, you seem to be afraid of me?" Lady Su asked with a smile. Chapter 718. I'm traumatized by my mother's generation. Huamin spoke the truth. Lady Su giggled. "You're such an honest girl, I can't believe you said something like that. No wonder Yu likes you so much." Lady Su's straightforward words made Huamin blush. Although the whole world knew that Su Yu liked her, it was still weird for Su Yu's mother to say it out loud. "Yu is the only son of the Su family. Our whole family loves him, especially his grandfather. But he's very strong-willed and has always worked hard. He never told me about the hardships he went through in the military. My son knows himself. Although he started a company after he was discharged and it's a little ridiculous, he's still a very serious child. Over the years, he's had a lot of girls around him, but he's never brought them home, nor has he ever mentioned them to me. But he's already mentioned it to me twice." "Auntie Su, let me finish." Lady Su looked at Huamin kindly. She continued, "I know that you came into this world late. No matter how much he likes you, you're already married. He's not the right person, what people call a homewrecker. But there's no right or wrong in love. There's nothing wrong with liking someone wholeheartedly. Plus, he didn't do anything to break up your family, right?" "No, he never did." Huamin nodded and spoke the truth. She didn't know that before Huamin got married, Su even gave him a sports car and roses in a very high-profile manner, but ever since he found out that Huamin was married, Su buried his feelings deep in his heart so that he wouldn't cause trouble for Huamin. In the dead of the night, he would rather lick his wounds. He didn't want to disturb Huamin even a little bit. This was indeed very difficult for the arrogant young master. So, as a mother, my heart aches when I see you suppressing himself for this relationship. But I also know that you already have a happy family. He really shouldn't be like that." Huamin remained silent. Lady Su seemed to be a very reasonable person. What she said was very reasonable and very realistic. "As for why I came today, I just wanted to see you. I believe that the girl that you likes must be the best girl in the world. Don't feel burdened. If you need any help from the Su family in the future, just come to me." Lady Su patted Huamin's hand. "Thank you, Auntie. It's okay. Eat it while it's hot. These snacks are freshly made. I'll leave first." Lady Su really didn't say anything. She just wanted to see what kind of person her son really liked. She had also seen the news and the posts about Huamin. However, she only believed in what she felt. Although Huamin looked stunning, he had a lot of inner qualities. The work he did was unremarkable, but he worked very hard. Her words and actions were not elegant enough, but she was generous and appropriate. She trusted her son's judgment. Unfortunately, she already had a husband and a family. To be honest, Huamin didn't feel very good about Lady Su's visit. If only Qin Chu's mother was so gentle, then he wouldn't have put Qin Chu in such a difficult position. People outside said that Lady Qin was a daughter-in-law who sowed discord, and others said that Lady Qin was a heartless mother-in-law. In short, everyone knew that the relationship between mother-in-law and daughter-in-law had deteriorated. Thinking about it, Qin Chu hadn't been home for many days because of protecting him. Huamin still felt quite bad. "Head nurse, President Wu is here. He wants to see you." The young nurse knocked on the door and reminded her. "Okay." Huamin didn't have time to eat. He got up and walked towards the top floor. Chapter 719. When Huamin went up, she thought that President Wu would be alone. However, she saw that there were more than 20 people in the conference room. Other than the people from the hospital, there were also many famous directors from the first hospital. It was a huge scene. Was he going to impeach her? Huamin was a little nervous. Was she going to be fired? No, she liked this job very much. The most surprising thing was that Hua Xichen was also there. He was the boss of the Hua Foundation and the financier of the hospital. Therefore, he would still participate in most of the major events at Southside, provided that he had the time and was willing to come. President Wu. Huamin was dumbfounded when she entered. Looking at the dazzling group of elders, she felt that something big was going to happen this time. This was because the hospital would only send out such a large group of people when there was a big announcement. Take a seat, Huamin. President Wu nodded and gestured for her to sit in the only empty seat. Huamin nodded and walked over. Hua Xichen was twirling a pen in his hand. When he saw Huamin, he smiled. A lot has happened at the hospital recently. I just came back from the United States to deal with some personal matters. I'm sorry that I didn't deal with it in time and caused everyone to be implicated. President Wu said solemnly. Huamin thought that President Wu must have helped Wu Xiaoxue immigrate. After all, it was the whole family's migration this time. President Wu actually doted on his niece. Speaking of which, otherwise, he wouldn't have called her in the middle of the night and personally asked her to save Wu Xiaoxue and the child. More and more patients are coming to Southside because of the hospital's reputation, and we're doing well. Second, the incident of Deputy Director Gua and Director Qi being interrogated has passed, so let's not talk about it in private anymore. The new Deputy Director will report in next week. He's a manager I hired from another city, and I believe he'll do a good job at Southside. Third, and the core of today's meeting, it's about Comrade Huamian. Principal, I'll work hard. You're not going to fire me, are you? Huamin could no longer remain calm and stood up. Everyone chuckled. Everyone seemed to know something, except for her. Little sister Mian, I didn't know you could be so anxious. Hua Xichen laughed at her cuteness. If you were fired, you wouldn't be calm either, Huamin retorted. President Wu smiled and said, sit down first. I'm not firing you. Are you going to demote me? It's okay, it's fine if I don't become the head nurse. Huamin wondered if he was going to be punished because of Ni Yang's incident, or if the dean was going to be angry because he had taken too many days off recently. Neither. Listen to me. President Wu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. It seemed that Huamin really liked the South Side. After some discussion, the higher-ups and the director decided that Huamin, you're no longer suitable to be the head nurse. So they're going to make an example out of me, Huamin mumbled in a small voice. With your current level of professionalism and personal ability, you're qualified to be a doctor. Doctor? Huamin was slightly surprised. This was a dream that he didn't even dare to dream of. Because he studied nursing in college, he had no chance of becoming a doctor, but since you don't have a medical certificate, we've jointly requested that the higher-ups arrange an exam for you. Exam? What exam? Upon hearing President Wu's words, Huamin was a little confused. Chapter 720. That's right, as long as you pass the exam, you'll be able to get your medical license. That way, people won't gossip about you when you treat patients. I know you're very low-key and don't want to get into trouble, but I hope you can make a careful decision this time. Southside also needs doctors, and if you have greater value, why don't you show it? Young people should still have dreams. I believe that with your qualifications, you'll become the best doctor. After President Wu finished speaking, the other doctors also chimed in. Director Li from the neurology department said, Huamin, we support you, and we hope you respect yourself. Director Li. I'm afraid I can't. Huamin's eyes glistened with tears. She never thought that one day, so many people would be busy with her medical career. What did Huamin do to deserve the protection of so many doctors and the director? How much face did he have? Little sister Mian, being a doctor has been your dream since you were young, and now you're about to realize it. God's gift to you has arrived, just a few years late. Hua Xiqian looked at her with a smile on his face. When President Wu told him about it, he immediately agreed and even took the time to come over. So what do I have to do now? Hua Min was a little excited. So you can choose a department. Because you'll have to choose your specialization during the exam. Once you choose, you can't change it. You're free to choose whichever department you want to go to. Of course, after some discussion, we decided that these are your specialties. There's OB/GYN, neurology, brain surgery, and ophthalmology. Hua Min was so excited that she couldn't speak. President Wu had done his homework. OB/GYN was the department she interned in, and brain surgery was the department she secretly studied during her university days. Neurology was her hobby, and she learned it for fun. However, Director Li liked her very much. She even gave her Ni Yang's medical records. As for ophthalmology, although she didn't have much experience with it, she did write Ning Ziyuan's thesis. She knew a little about it. Hua Min, I hope that you can come to the neurology department. I really need an excellent assistant like you. Chief Li could not hold himself back. Director Li, you're already trying to recruit people. That's too fast. Hua Min, come to the OB/GYN department. There are too many pregnant women who have cesarean sections every day. After you come, we'll focus on natural birth. We can work together to develop a water birth that imitates the Americans. What do you think? The director of the OB/GYN department said with a smile. Before Hua Min could say anything, the ophthalmology department started to snatch people away again. Hua Min, I heard that you were the one who wrote Ning Ziyuan's thesis. You are too talented. Ophthalmology is very simple. We only need to study the structure of the eyeball, and we can help countless patients see again. Ning Ziyuan has already left the hospital. Welcome to the ophthalmology department, the male ophthalmologist said. Hua Min is the head nurse of the orthopedics department, okay? She knows a lot about the orthopedics department, so we have to keep her as our trump card. No, neurosurgery is the center of attention in the country. If you want to be a successful doctor, you have to choose neurosurgery. The department heads were all arguing. Hua Min's brain was about to turn to mush. Hua Min, what do you think? President Wu looked at her and asked. Director, my brain is in a mess. Haha, there's no rush. Go back and think about it. When you're done, fill out the form and send it to me. I'll arrange for you to take the exam soon. President Wu, don't say that you can't do it. We believe in our professional judgment. Hua Min, you can do it. When you pass the exam, I'll celebrate for you. Haha, Hua Xiqian interjected with a pen in her mouth. Hua Min's head was still spinning when she walked out of the conference room. She felt like she was dreaming. Am I really going to be a doctor? Hua Min muttered to herself. She couldn't contain the joy in her heart. She picked up her phone and sent Qin Chu a WeChat message. Honey, I have good news to announce. Are you pregnant? Qin Chu replied immediately. Chapter 721. I'm not pregnant. Hua Min didn't think that Qin Chu would think in that direction. It seemed like he desperately wanted a baby as well, even though he didn't say it out loud. Then what's the good news? Qin Chu's pleasant voice sounded from WeChat. President Wu brought a lot of people to a meeting today. His goal is to recommend me to take the exam so that I can become a doctor. What about you? Do you want to? Qin Chu was more concerned about Hua Min's thoughts. To be honest, I do. That's great. Go ahead, I'll always support your decision. Qin Chu's tone was filled with joy. His wife shouldn't have become a nurse, what a waste of her talent, but I haven't thought about whether I can do it. You don't have to think about it, you can definitely do it. Ha, you have so much faith in me. Of course, Chin Chu's reply was still as arrogant as ever. Okay, with your words, I'm even more relieved. I don't have to worry about it anymore. I promised President Wu that I'll think about which major to apply to. After all, I'm interested in a few departments. Okay, Chin Chu replied with one word of affection. After hanging up, Huamin was in a great mood. She then sent a WeChat post, God's gift to you may be late, but it will never be absent. Sis, you're pregnant. Jing Zhixin asked impatiently. I'm not dead yet, Huamin replied instantly. Girl, what's the good news? Why don't you share it with us? Zhu Lingling asked. I'm not telling you, it's a secret. PSH, stop pretending with me, hurry up and tell me. Zhu Lingling was impatient. You're not going to be a mother, are you? Gao Ran also became a gossiper. No, you're overthinking it. Huamin was speechless at Gao Ran's guess. Ni Yang silently gave him a like. I look forward to your decision, Hua Xichen commented. He was the only one who knew the truth. The nurses in the hospital all gave Huamin a thumbs up. Although they didn't know what had happened, if he was called to a meeting by President Wu, there should be something good to announce, right? Head nurse, did you get promoted again? Yeah, you can say that. Oh yeah, then you have to treat us all to dinner. Of course. Huamin was in a good mood. He replied to every WeChat message unhurriedly. After Huamin got off work, he immediately went to the supermarket to buy groceries. Since the weather had turned cold and both of them were carnivores, Huamin bought ingredients for hot pot. Then, she sat at home and sent messages on WeChat. The hot pot is ready. Everyone, come quickly. Haha, wait for me, I'm going to wash my hair. I'll be right there, Zhu Lingling replied instantly. By the way, are you at South Hill Manor or Imperial Park? I'm at Imperial Park. Huamin and Hua Xichen only went to South Hill on the weekends. They usually stayed at Imperial Park. Okay, wait for me. Zhu Lingling was very happy. I'm going to get off work soon. Wait for me, Gao Ran replied as well. Chin Chu, on the other hand, didn't reply. Huamin was about to call him and ask when he would be back when he heard the sound of a key unlocking the door. Huamin immediately ran to the door. Honey, you're home early today, Huamin said with a smile. Because we have something good to celebrate today. Chin Chu came home early with 2 bottles of red wine in his hands. You went back to South Hill? Yeah, I got them from the wine cellar. So today is a special day for me to drink some wine? Huamin asked excitedly. No, the 3 of us will drink. You can drink milk. Huamin was speechless, she immediately pouted. Mr. Chin was so heartless. Chapter 722. Seeing the scary side of Huamin, Chin Chu couldn't help but pinch her cheeks and chuckle. I'm just kidding. Since you're so happy today, you can drink. Yay! Long live Mr. Chin. Huamin was as happy as a child. Then, she planted a kiss on Chin Chu's cheek. It was an earth-shattering kiss. She happily took the red wine and carefully soaked it in the ice bucket in the kitchen. Other than beef and lamb rolls, there were also a lot of vegetables, fish balls, crab sticks, mushroom balls, beef tendons, and seafood on the table. Huamin really went all out. It was a sumptuous feast for everyone. The couple busied themselves until Gao Ran and Zhu Lingling arrived. They could eat as soon as they walked in. Zhu Lingling walked in with a bouquet of sunflowers in her hands. The colors were extremely beautiful. Are these for me? Huamin smiled. Yeah, don't you love sunflowers? Zhu Lingling handed the sunflowers to him. Ha! I can't believe you like sunflowers. You're so weird. Gao Ran picked up a piece of ham from the plate and put it in his mouth. She's liked sunflowers since she was in school. I heard that sunflowers represent silent love, unspoken love. I wonder if you haven't confessed to Mr. Qin yet. Zhu Lingling smirked. Actually, I like sunflowers not only because they're pretty, but also because they're edible. Min remembered that the female lead of a movie once said something funny. Gao Ran and Zhu Lingling were both shocked. Just then, Qin Chu walked over and placed a hand on Min's shoulder. He said dotingly, sunflowers also represent the love for life and dreams. They represent the spirit of never giving up. Mr. Qin, you know me the best. Min shyly looked at her husband, and the two of them looked at each other affectionately. Can the two of you not start abusing PDA mode? Can you tell us what the good news is first? Gao Ran couldn't stand it anymore. He found a seat and sat down. Then, he ate and talked at the same time. His mouth didn't stop for a moment. Wife, you announce it yourself. Qin Chu held her hand. Min carefully inserted the sunflower into the glass vase in the living room. Then, he turned around and looked at the other three with a smile. I announce. I will be taking the exam in a few days. Exam? Driver's license. That's not right. Don't you have one? Gao Ran didn't understand. What exam? Are you going to be a professional manager? You want to join GK to help Mr. Qin? Zhu Lingling asked in surprise. Min shook his head. Neither. This time, I'm taking the exam for a professional doctor's license. Holy shit. You're going to be a doctor. Zhu Lingling exclaimed. That exam isn't for this season. Isn't it in March every year? Are you sure you asked? Gao Ran seemed to know a lot. President Wu and all the directors of our hospital jointly reported it, and the higher-ups approved it. I'll be able to take the exam in about a week. Then, are you really going to fulfill your childhood dream? Zhu Lingling was a little excited. Back in high school, they sat next to each other. Min studied a lot of medical books. She knew that Min wanted to be a doctor more than anything else. Because she never wanted to see her beloved family members leave this world because of the torment of illness. Now that so many years had passed and so many things had happened, Min didn't have a choice. Zhu Lingling didn't even dare to ask her about being a doctor, because she didn't want her to be sad. She didn't expect it to happen so suddenly. Yeah. Just like what I said on my WeChat friend circle, God's gift to me is only late, but not absent. After so many years, she was finally able to realize her initial dream. Congratulations. Although doctors don't have a good reputation right now, I still respect them. I hope that Min can become the best doctor in the world. Honey, good luck. Qin Chu raised his glass. The four of them celebrated together. The atmosphere was great. What major do you want to take? Gao Ran asked the main question as he picked up some vegetables. Chapter 723. This is too sudden. President Wu made the announcement today and I didn't even have time to think about it, so you haven't thought about it yet? Which ones are you considering? Zhu Lingling asked. I've interned in the OB/GYN department. Orthopedics is the department I'm currently in charge of at Southside. Neurosurgery is the department I'm interested in. Neurology is a project I've been helping directorly with. Ophthalmology, I've written a thesis on ophthalmology, but that was a long time ago. I'm not interested in ophthalmology right now, so I'll choose from the other four departments. That's a complicated feeling, but I think you should choose OB/GYN. Zhu Lingling smiled as she held on to her chopsticks. Why? Because when I give birth, I can ask you to help me deliver the baby. Screw you, you're going to ruin my future for your own selfish reasons. Huamin laughed as well. I think orthopedics is good too. A while ago, I was playing soccer with someone from the bureau and injured my ligament. I went to the orthopedics department to register, but damn, there were so many people. It was so hard to get a number, and the orthopedics doctors were so arrogant. If you become an orthopedics doctor, I'll be more loyal to you in the future. Ah. You're both thinking for yourselves, so I won't accept your suggestions. Huamin tilted his head and looked at Qin Chu. Mr. Qin, what do you think? Although I'm a neurosurgeon, I think you should choose neurology, Qin Chu said slowly. Why? Because the incidence of neurology is very high, but it's not taken seriously by our people in China. In fact, depression and schizophrenia are not much better than cancer. These diseases seem to be fine on the surface, but they threaten the patient's reputation at all times. Children with autism are especially pitiful. Since you've chosen a department, of course, I hope you'll consider it thoroughly. It's not because we're great people, but at least it's meaningful. As soon as Qin Chu finished speaking, Gao Ran immediately gave him a thumbs up. Brilliant, as expected of GK's big boss, you're so well-rounded. Normal people like us can't compare. That's true. But these things are so professional that I'm confused. Anyway. Girl, I'll support you no matter what you choose. In the future, I can proudly say that my best friend is a doctor, ha ha ha. Zhu Lingling laughed devilishly again. Huamin looked at Qin Chu, touched. His advice was always so sincere, that's fine. I'll think about it before making a decision. Anyway. I'm very happy. Thank you all for celebrating with me. The four of them raised their glasses again. During the banquet, Gao Ran suddenly thought of something and asked, by the way, how's the 30-year anniversary going? Preparations are complete. It'll be held on time this Friday night, Qin Chu slowly said as he put down his wine glass. I don't know where our director heard the news, but he said that you're going to invite Master Zhang Lanyu, a famous Peking opera actress. Oh my God, he's been asking me for an invitation every day. I'm speechless. Yeah, there's no limit to the number of guests this time. We've prepared a big venue and a lot of food. So, you guys can bring some invitations and invite your friends and family. Qin Chu was extremely generous. That's great. My parents are crazy about her too. That Peking opera master and my grandpa, haha, they kept asking to come. So it's true, it wasn't just a rumor. Zhu Lingling laughed as well. Before Qin Chu could say anything, Huamin smiled and said, for the 30-year anniversary celebration, we're going to do something similar to the Spring Festival Gala. Other than GK's own artists, we're also going to invite celebrities from all walks of life. Peking opera is a national treasure, so of course we have to have it. Many famous singers and movie stars will also come. Basically, it's going to be a grand celebration. I heard that the host is Jin Lan, and the male host, Yang Xiao, is that true? Mr. Qin, is that true? Zhu Lingling continued to gossip as she looked at Qin Chu. Chapter 724. Emichim, Qin Chu nodded and didn't deny it. Oh my God, how much money is this going to cost? Rich people can do whatever they want. You don't understand, they can earn back whatever they spend. This is an opportunity to pave the way for GK film and television. After the gala, GK film and television will become famous overnight. The profit margin will be limitless. Chu is a businessman, after all, he won't make a losing deal. Gao Ran's analysis was completely correct. Huamin and Qin Chu only smiled and didn't say anything. Zhu Lingling suddenly understood. Oh right, why didn't I think of that? That's why I'm saying that you're the classic example of someone with long hair but short brains, Gao Ran mocked. Zhu Lingling immediately rolled her eyes and retorted, I'm the one with long hair but short brains, what about you? Aren't your brains even shorter? You're simple-minded and thick-limbed, all men like you look like pigs. You're not much better than me. You're the classic example of someone with a thick waist, short legs, and a round face, Gao Ran retorted. You. Zhu Lingling was furious. You're attacking him personally to cover up the fact that you two are having an affair, right? Hua Min snickered. You two are in a love-hate relationship, right? Qin Chu calmly looked at him and chatted. Don't talk nonsense, who's in a love-hate relationship with him? I definitely don't love him, but I do want to kill him, Zhu Lingling explained. That's why I'm saying that an evil woman like you will never get married. You should prepare to be an old lady for the rest of your life. Fuck off, you're the old lady. If I can't get married, I'll climb up your window every day and haunt you. Sorry, my house is on the 26th floor. I'm afraid that a gust of wind might blow you down, Gao Ran said proudly. Every time they ate, the atmosphere would explode as long as these two clowns were around. The only good thing was that they never got mad no matter how much they bickered. Zhu Lingling was a rather thick-skinned girl. He wouldn't get angry over such a small matter, and he wasn't that thin-skinned, therefore, they spent a lot of time together, and everyone was very happy. After that, Zhu Lingling posted a photo of them eating in the group chat. Are you in Hua Min's house? Someone asked. Goddess Hua looks better than before. I guess marrying Qin Chu was the right decision. Mr. Qin looks even more handsome now, he looks so stylish even when eating hot pot. Zhu Lingling, aren't you just showing off that you're friends with rich people? Do you have the guts to give us a red packet? There were all kinds of comments in the group chat, and Zhu Lingling couldn't be bothered with them. At this moment, someone suddenly hugged Zhu Lingling. She opened it and saw that it was Lu Xiying. Lu Xiying was Qin Chu's hardcore fan. She thought that Lu Xiying would be furious. However, she wasn't. This time, Lu Xiying only asked calmly, Are you still at Hua Min's house? Yeah. Zhu Lingling replied proudly. She didn't forget to add, Hua Min and Qin Chu invited me to eat hot pot. Can you give me her phone number? Lu Xiying asked again. Do you have something to say? Yeah, I have something to say. What is it? Tell me. Zhu Lingling felt that Lu Xiying definitely didn't have anything good to say to Hua Min. No, I want to talk to her personally. This woman is so pretentious. If she has something to say, she can just tell me. She wants to talk to me personally. Bitches are so pretentious, Zhu Lingling muttered to herself. What's wrong, Lingling? Hua Min looked at her and asked. Lu Xiying asked me for your number and tagged me in the group chat. I don't know what she wants. My number. Hua Min was slightly surprised. Yeah. I don't have time to talk to her. Forget it, don't worry about her. Don't, give it to her. I think she wants to talk to me about something at a time like this. Hua Min thought that Lu Xiying hadn't shown up in a long time, so she probably wanted to talk to him about something. Although she was Qin Chu's hardcore fan, they were married, and the whole world knew about it. She probably wouldn't bother him anymore, right? Okay. Zhu Lingling then sent Hua Min's number to Lu Xiying. A minute later, Lu Xiying called back. Chapter 725. Hey. Hua Min. That's me. I'm Lu Xiying. I know, what is it? Hua Min wasn't polite to Lu Xiying, but she didn't distance herself from her either. I have a favor to ask of you. What is it? Huamin was surprised that an arrogant woman like Lu Xiying would ask her for a favor. She even wondered if Lu Xiying was asking her to give Qin Chu to her. She couldn't do that. I'm getting married next Tuesday at Womiai Manor. Can you be my bridesmaid? Why me? Huamin was confused. Shouldn't her best friend be the bridesmaid? Because I lost to you. I've been trying my best to prove to everyone that I'm better than you, but the truth is that I'm not. I used to think that I was prettier than you, richer than you, more educated than you, and my parents were better than yours, so I should have Qin Chu's love. But now, I realize that all I've been chasing was a ridiculous dream. I've let go of everything and am about to get married. I want you to be my bridesmaid because ever since we were in school, you've always been the main character, and I've always been a third-rate supporting actress. So, on my wedding day, I was wondering if you could let me be the main character and you be the supporting actress. I know your request is rude, but I still hope that you can come. It's time for us to settle our grudges after all these years. Huamin didn't say anything after hearing what Lu Xiying said. Lu Xiying was a very honest woman, and she spoke her mind. If she hated you, she would never pretend to like you. So, even if she overestimated herself at times, she was very honest. Even today, when she invited Huamin to be her bridesmaid, she didn't pretend to make up or anything like that. She didn't say how good their relationship was. Instead, she directly said, Huamin, I want to be the main character for today, so can you be the supporting actress for today? How sincere was this request? Can I? Lu Xiying knew that the chances of success weren't high. After all, Huamin was now a young lady of GK. She, on the other hand, was just the daughter of a small business. The difference was huge. Moreover, she had tried to intervene in the relationship between Huamin and Qin Chu. Huamin should hate her very much. However, to her surprise, Huamin said, next Tuesday. I'll be there on time. Thank you. Lu Xiying hung up after thanking him. Zhu Lingling immediately asked, what's next Tuesday? You're not going to her wedding, are you? Not only the wedding, I promised to be her bridesmaid. Huamin said word by word. Fuck. Fuck, girl, are you out of your mind? Weddings cost money. You don't need to spend a single cent on someone like Lu Xiying. All these years, she's been trying to ruin your relationship with Mr. Huamin. Zhu Lingling hated Lu Xiying. She hated all women who tried to ruin Huamin's happiness. Who's Lu Xiying? The woman who had a crush on Chu and fought with Huamin for 3 years. Gao Ran didn't remember this person because they weren't in the same class. That's right, it's that scheming, disgusting woman, Zhu Lingling said viciously. Qin Chu didn't say anything. Instead, he quietly looked at Huamin. He noticed the complicated look in her eyes. Lingling, to be honest, out of all my opponents, Lu Xiying is the one that I hate the least. Or rather, she's not even my opponent, because she has no chance of winning. Now that she's retreating and choosing to get married, isn't that a good thing? Did you guys know? What she said just now moved me. Chapter 726. What did she say? Zhu Lingling was surprised. She said, I've been the main character my whole life, and she's been a third-rate supporting actress her whole life. Now that she's married, she wants me to be the main character, and she wants me to be the supporting actress, so that we can put an end to our past. Damn, can't you tell? She's trying to make you look bad. Who do you think you are? If you can be her supporting actress, don't go. Don't talk to her. Lingling, I want to go. Lu Xiying is a real person. She's only going to wear a wedding dress and be happy. This is the only thing she wants me to do, and it's not hard for me. Being a supporting actress isn't a big deal. Huamin smiled. Mr. Qin, you have to control your Huamin, she's crazy, Zhu Lingling yelled. I respect her decision. Qin Chu never gave Huamin a hard time, and he always respected her decision. Gao Ran and Zhu Lingling didn't say anything else after seeing that the couple had made up their minds. After this topic, they continued to eat hot pot, and then the four of them sat on the sofa in the living room to play cards. They were having a lot of fun. In the end, Zhu Lingling won a few thousand yuan. She was in a great mood and insisted on inviting them to karaoke. Helpless, Huamin was sleepy, so she didn't go. In the end, Gao Ran took Zhu Lingling out of Imperial Park. Qin Chu carried the sleepy Huamin upstairs. Huamin sleepily changed into her nightgown, and just as she lay down, Qin Chu pressed himself on top of her. Then, he kissed her softly. Huamin didn't know if it was because of the alcohol or because she was too sleepy, but she felt like she was half asleep. She felt like her brain wasn't very clear. Qin Chu kissed her slowly, from her neck to her collarbone, and then down. Honey. I'm so tired, it's okay. You don't have to be up there today. I'll do it. Qin Chu smiled gently. At this moment, Huamin suddenly opened his eyes and exclaimed. What's wrong? Honey. Honey. Which one? That seems to be coming. Huamin wanted to cry but had no tears. Just as he was enjoying it in a daze, a warm feeling flowed out from below. This feeling immediately woke her up. Qin Chu was sweating profusely. Then, he got up reluctantly. Huamin sat up and turned around. Sure enough, the golden bedsheet was stained with a touch of red. Huamin grumbled in a low voice, Auntie, why did you have to come at this time? You did it on purpose, didn't you? Honey, you go and do it. I'll change the sheets. Okay. After Huamin put on a sanitary pad, washed his underwear, and took a hot shower, when he came back, Qin Chu had already changed into a light purple bedsheet. It was beautiful. Where's the dirty one? Give it to me and I'll wash it. I threw it away. Huamin was speechless. Honey, you're such a spendthrift. How could he just throw away a bedsheet that was worth a few thousand yuan? What else can I do? Do you think I'll let you wash it? Qin Chu didn't want Huamin to wash it in the middle of the night when Auntie Flo came. Okay. You always have your reasons. Huamin climbed onto the bed and crawled under the covers. Qin Chu got up and walked out. Soon, he came back with a bowl of brown sugar ginger water. Honey, drink this before you sleep. Honey, I'm going to be Lu Xiying's bridesmaid. Do you think I'm a saint? Huamin asked as she took the bowl of brown sugar ginger water. Do you want to tell me the truth? Qin Chu looked at her. Yes. No, I think you're just trying to fulfill one of her wishes. This has nothing to do with being a saint. You're really my husband. No matter what I do, you can't bear to scold me. Huamin smiled. Some people say that marriage is a gamble. You're willing to bet your entire life on me, so how could I let you lose? So, honey, no matter what you do, I'll respect your decision. Qin Chu wasn't someone who liked to say sweet nothings. He was a man of few words and was a tsundere by nature. However, he was always full of affection for Huamin. But honey, if marriage is a gamble, what if you're the one who loses in the end? Chapter 727. I have no regrets. Qin Chu only said 4 words. At that moment, Huamian felt like she was about to cry. Qin Chu's words were so domineering and stubborn. Even if he bet all of his happiness on Huamin and lost in the end, he had no regrets. Huamin was obviously very sleepy, but she was touched by Qin Chu's words. She put down the brown sugar water, got up, and wrapped her arms around Qin Chu's neck. She hugged him tightly and didn't want to let go. Honey, be good, drink the brown sugar water while it's still hot. No, let me hug you for a while. Huamin was stubborn. In the end, Huamin hugged him for a few more minutes before reluctantly letting go. Then, under Qin Chu's gaze, she quietly drank the bowl of brown sugar water filled with love. The two of them lay on the bed, and Huamin rested her head on Qin Chu's arm. Honey, do you want me to perform for the 30th anniversary? Do you want to perform? I can sing. Honey, be good, let's not mess around. Qin Chu couldn't help but laugh. Did he want his wife to sing? Wouldn't that be out of tune? Honey, I'm serious, I can sing a song that's not out of tune. I won't embarrass you. Two tigers. Qin Chu laughed back. Huamin immediately raised her hand and pounded Qin Chu's chest. Are you mocking me? Honey, don't mess around, we're fine, we're not cut out for singing. You and I are responsible for making money to support the family, and you're responsible for being as beautiful as a flower. Humph. I'm ignoring you. Huamin doubted that she would sing at the anniversary party. However, the stage was like the Spring Festival Gala, filled with celebrities. If his wife went on stage and sang a song, it would probably shock everyone. Honey. Huamin ignored her. Mian. God is Hua. No matter how Qin Chu called out, Huamin turned his back to him and refused to respond. Dr. Hua. I'm not a doctor yet. I haven't passed the exam yet. Finally, when the word doctor was mentioned, Huamin reacted. Qin Chu turned her body over lovingly. Honey, don't be angry. If you want to sing, then sing. If you want to dance, then dance. You can perform whatever you want. Really? Really? Qin Chu went all out to protect his wife. Okay, let me think about it. Huamin was so sleepy that he couldn't open his eyes. Qin Chu leaned over and gently kissed her on the forehead. The next morning Huamin arrived at Southside early in the morning. Good morning, head nurse. Good morning, head nurse. The young nurses were even more excited than ever. Why are you all looking at me like that? Because you're going to be a doctor soon. You're the first one in 100 years to be promoted from a nurse to a doctor. All of us nurses are proud of you. A few of her subordinates giggled. It's not confirmed yet. What if I don't pass the exam? Wouldn't that be embarrassing? That won't happen, we believe in you. Oh right, head nurse, have you chosen a department yet? Why don't you stay in the orthopedics department? We don't want you to leave. The orthopedics department was indeed the department that Huamin had been in since the beginning. She knew a lot of people here. Actually, the department that I'm thinking of really isn't the orthopedics department. Huamin didn't want to lie to everyone, so she spoke slowly. Before anyone could speak, Wasiqian walked in wearing a coffee-colored casual jacket. Mian, come here. What? I want to talk to you about something private. Don't you have to go to work? Why are you here at this time of the day? Huamin looked at his watch. It was 9 in the morning. Wasn't Wasiqian supposed to be holding a morning meeting with the employees of the Hua Corporation at this time? Oh, about that, you don't need me. The old man is here. What is it? Speak. At the end of the hallway, Huamin put his hands in the pockets of his white lab coat. You beat Huasi's face up the other day, didn't you? Upon hearing this, Huamin's expression changed. Chapter 728. He didn't say anything. I guessed. You guessed right, President Hua. Huamin sneered. Don't worry, Huasi is probably traumatized by you, so he wouldn't say anything. The other day, when the old man asked him, he said he knocked himself out, but I don't think he knocked himself out. It was obvious that he was beaten up. With Huasi's temper, he didn't say anything even though he was beaten up. I think there's more to it than meets the eye. I heard that he made things difficult for Jing Jixin, so I guessed that you were behind it. You sure know a lot. Huamin didn't like Huasiqian's ability to predict the future. It was as if he knew everything and everything was under his control. I'm here to tell you not to get close to Huasi for a while. Is it because you're going to do something to him? Huamin asked. Smart. Huasiqian reached out his finger and flicked Huamin's head lovingly. You have a plan. Yeah, everything is going well. Just wait for the good news. But when the old man loses, he might be in a miserable state. He'll probably ask you and Qin Chu for help. Don't be soft-hearted when that happens, Huasiqian reminded him. Don't worry. I won't be soft-hearted. I won't forgive him for threatening me and my mom with the demolition just to help Xinjiani. Okay, that's good. As long as you guys don't interfere, he's dead for sure. Dead for sure. You don't have to be so ruthless, do you? Huamin had a feeling that Huasiqian was going to do something. It's not like me to cut the weeds without removing the roots. It'll only bring trouble to myself in the future. Don't worry. I won't kill him. After all, he raised me. Huasiqian chuckled. As the two chatted, a sharp voice suddenly sounded. You're really meeting a man in private. Did you take advantage of my son's busy work to have an affair outside? Fortunately, I came and bumped into you. You're doing this in broad daylight. Don't you have any shame? Lady Qin walked over in a black velvet dress, followed by a maid. She had been discharged from the hospital and had returned home to recuperate. However, he was unwilling to let go of Huamin so easily, so he came early in the morning to pick a fight. This old lady, what the hell is she? Huasiqian was stunned. Qin Chu's mother. Huamin felt a little helpless. She didn't want to argue with the elderly, especially Qin Chu's mother. However, she was always looking for trouble. Her perseverance must be drunk. I'm going to call my son right now and ask him to come and take a look. You're hiding in the hospital corridor in broad daylight. As she spoke, Lady Qin pulled out her phone. Hurry up and call him. By the way, tell him to send 2 lunchboxes at noon because my brother is having lunch here. Brother? Lady Qin was a little dumbfounded. Hello, Lady Qin, I'm Huasiqian. You're from the Huo family. Lady Qin's expression darkened. Madam. I think you misunderstood. That person is the young master of the Huo family, a young lady's older brother. What older brother? He's just an adopted son. We're not related by blood. Who knows what he's doing behind his back when he calls him older brother? Lady Qin tried to twist the truth. Huasiqian's expression darkened bit by bit. There were 2 things that he couldn't tolerate. The first was being used as an adopted son against him. The second was bullying Huamin in front of him. However, Qin Chu's mother didn't know what was good for her and committed 2 crimes at once. Huasiqian's expression darkened. He looked at Lady Qin and said, Lady Qin, you should watch what you say. After all, you're from a wealthy family and shouldn't act like a shrew. Not only will you embarrass the Qin family, but you'll also bring shame to GK. Sometimes, you're not being direct, you're being brainless. Who are you calling brainless? Lady Qin was furious. I didn't even mention your name, why are you taking it as a given? Also, after seeing you today, I'm suddenly impressed by Chairman Qin. He has a wife like you, but he didn't cheat on you for so many years. That's an extraordinary amount of perseverance. Huasiqian never used profanities when he scolded people, but he definitely made them feel uncomfortable. After Huamin heard how he insulted Qin Chu's mother, he wanted to give him a thumbs up. What do you mean? Lady Qin was so angry that her face turned pale. Chapter 729. Auntie, let me give you a piece of advice. Don't think that you can bully Mian just because she's easy to bully. She's just being nice to you because you're an elder, but you can't take advantage of your seniority. You should act like an elder, planting flowers, fishing, and drinking tea every day. Isn't that great? Why do you have to do things that humiliate your family? What if you have grandchildren in the future and they don't like you? You'll feel terrible. What are you talking about? Lady Qin couldn't believe that someone dared to humiliate her in public. That's enough. I don't have time to talk nonsense with you. After speaking, Hua Xiqian looked at Huamin and smiled. Wait for my good news. Huamin nodded, knowing what he was talking about. When Hua Xiqian walked past Lady Qin, he deliberately whistled. Lady Qin was so angry that she felt like she was going to have a heart attack. Stop right there, don't go. Lady Qin yelled. Hua Xiqian ignored her completely. Just then, a nurse walked over and reminded her, Please, madam, don't yell here. This is a hospital, please be quiet. You're crazy. Huamin, is this how you treat your mother-in-law? Do you have any manners? Did I say that you're my mother-in-law? Huamin looked at her and asked, word for word. What did you say? Lady Qin was shocked again. I'm sorry, I don't acknowledge you, just like you don't acknowledge me, so, don't talk about our relationship. If you're here to see a doctor, please wait in line. If you want to see me, I'm not free right now. You can wait until I get off work at 5:30 p.m., that's all. After speaking, Huamin turned around and left. Damn, this little vixen is too arrogant. I'm not dead yet, and she's already acting like this. Does she really think that the Qin family is hers? Lady Qin was furious. Madam, don't be angry. A young lady might really be busy. Don't speak for her. That's her true colors. Only my foolish son believes in her. Lady Qin originally wanted to find Huamin to mock her and blame her for not letting her son go to the hospital. However, he did not expect to run into Hua Xiqian. Hua Xiqian did not indulge her. He mocked and ridiculed Lady Qin, leaving her no chance to refute. Huamin had been busy with exams recently, so he didn't have time to deal with Lady Qin's actions. Lady Qin walked out of Southside Recuperation Center and took out her phone to make a call. Hello. Northern Metropolis Daily. I want to book an interview. I want to expose the true face of that woman, Huamin. Lady Qin played her old tricks again. Reporters were all willing to engage in gossip because there was something to see. However, what Lady Qin didn't know was that Northern Metropolis Daily was a subsidiary of Imperial Star. So, Imperial Star headquarters, boss. Old Madam Qin is exposing our family scandal again. Should we publish it? And asked carefully. What did she say? Suyu looked at the market trend on his laptop and asked nonchalantly. She's talking about her daughter-in-law in all sorts of ways. She's trampling on her and smearing her reputation. Suyu stood up, picked up a cigarette, and put it in his mouth. The truth was, if he took the opportunity to fan the flames, it might cause a misunderstanding between Qin Chu and Lady Qin. After all, Lady Qin was Qin Chu's mother. However, he couldn't, because he couldn't allow Huamin to be wronged and misunderstood. Give the order. The interview will go on as usual, but the content needs to be changed. Yes, boss. That night, Northern Metropolis Daily published Lady Qin's interview and attracted attention from all walks of life. The general content of the interview was, I ostracized my daughter-in-law, Huamin, because of our family background, but she didn't care about the past and was still filial to me. Why are you acting so strange today? Qin Yumin and Lady Qin were sitting in the living room and were slightly surprised when they saw the media report. When Lady Qin saw the report, she almost went crazy. What's going on? She screamed. Why was it completely different from what she exposed? Did the reporters make a mistake? Chapter 730. Lady Qin immediately called Northern Metropolis Daily again, but no one picked up. How dare they twist the truth? I'm going to make a scene at the news agency tomorrow. That's enough. Do you think our family hasn't been humiliated enough? Our son is busy with the 30-year anniversary celebration. Don't add to his troubles, Qin Yumin comforted her. What do you mean add to his troubles? I'm doing this for our son's sake. In ancient times, if an emperor had a femme fatale by his side, he wouldn't have lasted long. Right now, our son is the emperor, and Huamin is the femme fatale. Can't you see that? I don't understand, and I can't understand your thoughts. Lady Qin's antics not only tormented their son, but even their husband, Qin Yumin, couldn't take it anymore. He couldn't agree with her actions. I don't need you to understand. If you're not going to help me, then don't go against me. If you continue to cause trouble, then you'll have to stay here by yourself. I've booked a plane ticket. I'm going to Hawaii after the 30-year anniversary celebration. What do you mean? Are you leaving me behind? Lady Qin looked at her husband in disbelief. If I take you with me, will you come with me? Of course not, I still haven't dealt with our son's situation. Then that's it, if you're not coming with me, then I'll have to go alone. Qin Yumin, are you seeing another woman? Are you keeping a mistress in Hawaii? Lady Qin mocked him. Qin Yumin was so angry that his hands trembled. What nonsense are you talking about? What mistress? I'm already so old, how dare you insult me? Then why are you in such a hurry to leave me behind? I already said that I'll go with you after I deal with our son's situation. I don't think you'll ever be able to deal with it. You can stay here and suffer. I've had enough of you. After speaking, Qin Yumin got up and left. Qin Yumin, come back and explain yourself. What do you mean you've had enough of me? Do you want a divorce? Sure, whatever you want. Qin Yumin wasn't threatened by her divorce. He went straight upstairs to the study. Great. Qin Yumin, you don't care about your son, yet you still want to divorce me and say that you don't have a woman. I'm so angry. Lady Qin yelled angrily. The maids were so scared that they hid in the kitchen, not daring to make a sound. It was getting more and more difficult to stay in the Qin family because Lady Qin's mood was too unstable. Lady Qin couldn't enter GK because Qin Chu had grounded his mother. So, she called Qin Chu again and again. Qin Chu pressed the button once, but she continued to press the button. She was very persistent. Qin Chu was in the middle of a meeting when his phone rang. He made a gesture to end the meeting. Then he got up and walked to another room. Mom, what is it? Son, come back. Your dad wants to divorce me, Mrs. Qin said as tears and snot streamed down her face. Divorce? No way. Qin Chu froze. It's true, he said himself that he'll leave as soon as the company's 30-year anniversary celebration is over. He's in such a hurry to leave me behind. I think he has someone in the States. You must have friends in the States. Hurry up and help me investigate your dad. Qin Chu was silent for a while and then quietly said, Mom, you're overthinking it. Dad's not that kind of person. What do you mean he's not that kind of person? He can't resist the seduction of a little vixen. Just like you, I always thought that my son was the smartest person in the world. But look what happened. He was played by a woman. Lady Qin was speechless that her husband was involved in Huamin. Qin Chu's head hurt when he heard this. Chapter 731. By the way, son, you don't know how outrageous Huamin was today. I went to South Side to register and wanted to ask her to help me, but she ignored me and kept flirting with that young master of the Hua family. She even told me to wait until after work if I wanted to talk to her about something personal. Look at her, how arrogant is she? How could she treat her mother-in-law like that? Mom, ask yourself, do you think she's your daughter-in-law? Chin Chu asked, word for word. You can't treat your elders like that. I think you should keep an eye on her and don't let her get too close to other men. It'll ruin the Chin family's reputation. Mom. I've known Huamin for many years, and I know exactly what kind of person she is. If you're worried about your marriage with Dad, you'd better reflect on why things are like this. Don't lose more than you gain in the end. Also, I've been very busy lately, please don't call me again. Then, Chin Chu hung up the phone. Lady Chin was so angry that she threw the phone far away. I'm so angry. Both the old and the young are like this. Like father, like son. I tried my best to persuade them, but they all despised me. I can't live with myself anymore. Madam, your white fungus lotus seeds are ready. The maid said carefully. Get out of my way. I'm not in the mood to eat them. Lady Chin was furious at home. The Northern Metropolis Daily's report had a lot of effect on Huamin. Everyone thought that old Madam Chin was crazy, criticizing her daughter-in-law one moment and then praising her the next. It was all because Huamin kept a low profile and didn't respond, so she seemed to be very magnanimous. Su Yu got off work at the company and was about to leave when he saw Jian Tong walking over. President Su, do you have time? I want to buy you dinner. Dinner? Why? Because it's my birthday today. Jian Tong was wearing an elegant pink dress and a black leather jacket. She looked very punk. Jian Tong was currently the most popular person in Imperial Star, but she was also the most low-profile person. Because she was smart and didn't talk much, she became popular. Because she knew her place, Su Yu didn't dislike her. Originally, Su Yu wanted to refuse. But when she heard that it was Jian Tong's birthday, she felt embarrassed. It's your birthday, why didn't you say so earlier? Wouldn't it be great if the company held a birthday party for you? Su Yu looked at Jian Tong with his hands in his pockets. Jian Tong smiled and shook her head. No, I've always thought that birthdays are more private, so I don't want to be so high profile. I just want to celebrate with my favorite friends. If you don't mind, I'll treat you to a meal, and then I have a party with a group of good friends at 10 o'clock. Seeing how generous Jian Tong was, Su Yu felt that it would be too pretentious of him to refuse, thus, he nodded. Let's go. Jian Tong smiled and followed behind Su Yu. The two of them chatted and laughed as they walked out. When Mian saw this, she was furious. She walked up to Su Yu and said, President Su. I have a script that I don't understand, do you have time? Can you give me some guidance? Script guidance is the job of the director and scriptwriter. Don't you think it's ridiculous that you're asking me for help? Su Yu hated Mian more and more. It was one thing for her to have plastic surgery. After all, everyone loved beauty. However, she didn't know her place. Not only did she fight with Jian Tong for Su Yu's favor, but she also constantly harassed Su Yu. Su Yu's words made Mian speechless. Jian Tong smiled and followed Su Yu into the flashy black Lamborghini. Then, they sped off. Inside the Ritz-Carlton Western restaurant, Jian Tong loved salmon, so the two of them came to the restaurant. Unexpectedly, they ran into Wei Liao and Jiang Xiaowei here. Oh, Lord Su, what a coincidence. Wei Liao stood up and smiled. Young Master Wei, Jian Tong greeted him generously. Superstar, you're getting prettier. Wei Liao saw that Su Yu was eating with Jian Tong and thought that there was something going on between the two of them. Therefore, he was in a good mood. Jiang Xiaowei, on the other hand, was arrogant. She sat there without moving and calmly ate. Ever since you got engaged, it's been hard for me to get you to drink with me. What's going on? Are you ignoring your friends? Su Yu teased with a smile. Ahem, no, I've been busy lately. Wei Liao coughed lightly and then glanced at Jiang Xiaowei. Oh, are you busy making babies? Su Yu asked in a dirty tone. Chapter 732. Yeah, isn't that normal? After all, not everyone is like young Master Su, flirting with girls every day in the name of being single. Jiang Xiaowei was the one who said this. She had always been straightforward with her words and didn't give anyone face. Jian Tong felt a little awkward. She stood next to Su Yu and smiled without saying anything. You guys eat, we'll talk later. Su Yu waved his hand. He had no intention of sharing a table with Jiang Xiaowei. Why are you so rude? Ha, Lord Su doesn't have a grudge against you, right? Wei Liao asked with a smile. I just can't stand how much of a playboy Su Yu is. He pretends to like Huamin, but then he turns around and flirts with other female celebrities. What's the meaning of that? Sis. Huamin is a married woman, okay? What do you think he should do? Publicly become a homewrecker and steal her? Wouldn't that destroy his worldview? That's not what I meant. I just can't accept what Su Yu is doing. Jiang Xiaowei thought that Su Yu and Jian Tong had a special relationship, so she thought that Huamin was being unfair. That was normal. She didn't know that Su Yu was just celebrating Jian Tong's birthday and eating with her, so she really misunderstood Lord Su. Is that young Master Wei's girlfriend? Jian Tong asked curiously after she sat down. She's my fiancée. Su Yu smiled. He still felt like he was dreaming when he thought about his ridiculous engagement the other day. Fiancé. I didn't hear about young Master Wei's engagement. Why is he being so low-key? Jian Tong was slightly surprised. It's a long story, let's not talk about that. What do you want to eat? Order. Okay. Jian Tong nodded and flipped through the menu. Then, she waved her hand and called the waiter over. I want salmon, tuna, and white tuna. I also want udon noodles. Conch, the kind that isn't very big. Also, I want flying crab, Argentine red shrimp, and Australian lobster. Oh, and a bottle of champagne. Okay, please wait a moment. As soon as Jian Tong finished ordering, she heard a notification sound from her phone. It showed that your bank account number ending with 6,846 had just received 1,000,000 yuan. Mr. Su, you. Jian Tong looked at Su Yu, who was fiddling with his phone. Yup. Why are you giving me 1,000,000? Jian Tong was a little surprised. Happy birthday. I didn't know it was your birthday, so I didn't prepare a present. Take it and buy whatever you like. Thank you, President Su. Jian Tong was actually a little disappointed. Now that she was famous, she no longer lacked money. What she wanted for her birthday was not money. She's not a birthday, at least, a birthday present Su Yu's didn't attest. But now. Although 1,000,000 yuan was a lot, Su Yu really didn't put much thought into it. Su Yu was rich, and it was rare for him to put much thought into it. However, Jian Tong wouldn't ask for more, because she wasn't a greedy person. Huamin was still working overtime at South Side because 2 patients suddenly arrived at the orthopedics department, and the situation was quite urgent. Therefore, she didn't get off work on time. By the time she finished, it was already 6 p.m. Seeing that Qin Chu called her, she was about to reply. Then, she saw a WeChat message from Jiang Xiaowei. I saw Su Yu and Jian Tong, they're eating here. Ah, you were right not to accept Su Yu's pursuit. He's such a playboy, Jiang Xiaowei said angrily. What do you mean? Ha! Huamin smiled helplessly. Then, she picked up her phone and called Qin Chu. Honey, you called me. I was in the emergency room and didn't hear you. Chapter 733. Honey, did you get off work? Not yet, I'm working overtime. I'll probably be back in half an hour. Okay, I'll pick you up in a bit. Okay, see you in a bit. After hanging up, Huamin suddenly remembered something and called Assistant Yang. A young lady, what is it? Assistant Yang immediately sucked up to her. Everyone from the branch company will come to the 30-year anniversary celebration, right? Yes, a young lady. Oh, cancel the people from the branch company in T-City. Don't let any of them come. The accident hasn't been dealt with yet, and there's still negative news about it. I'm afraid it'll affect the celebration. I'll talk to President Qin about this personally, just do as I say. Okay, a young lady. Assistant Yang hung up the phone and called the branch in T-City according to his instructions. Hello, President Jiang, I'm Assistant Yang. Assistant Yang, what is it? Jiang Linyue was trying on a gown at a luxury store. She was going to amaze everyone at the company's 30-year anniversary celebration. It's like this, I just received notice that the company you're in charge of isn't letting you attend the 30-year anniversary celebration because the negative news hasn't been dealt with yet. What did you say? Jiang Linyue's heart sank. I'm so sorry, I should have told you earlier, but I just received the notice. So, President Jiang, I'll have to trouble you a bit. You and your colleagues will have to wait until the year-end employee meeting. Why won't we attend? Because the accident is still negative news, and the company doesn't want to take the risk. Whose idea is this? Is it President Qin? Jiang Linyue felt extremely uncomfortable. Ever since she came here, she had been under a lot of pressure. Not only did she have to deal with the mess every day, but she also had to deal with all kinds of accusations and difficulties. She was also very competitive, and in order to get President Qin's attention, she always wanted to do well. She originally wanted to relax during the 30-year anniversary celebration and come back to see President Qin. But, her right to attend was cancelled. It's President Qin's idea. Assistant Yang didn't think a young lady's idea represented President Qin. I don't believe it, I'll ask President Qin myself. Hello. Director Jiang, don't be so stubborn. But before Yang could finish, Jiang Linyue hung up the phone. At this moment, Qin Chu was driving to South Side. When he saw that it was a call from the branch company, he thought for a moment before putting on his earphones and picking it up. Hello. President Qin, I'm Jiang Linyue. Go ahead. It's the 30th anniversary celebration. Why did you disqualify us? Why didn't you let me go? Qin Chu was stunned at first, then he said calmly, it's just the company's decision. Even if they're afraid that the accident here will affect the company's reputation, just tell them not to come. I still want to attend in my own name. I'm an old employee of the company, and I don't want to miss the 30-year ceremony. So you want to refute the company's decision? No, I just want to ask for President Qin's mercy. Jiang Linyue's voice trembled slightly as she sobbed, let's follow the rules. I'm driving. That's all. After speaking, Qin Chu hung up the phone. Jiang Linyue was no longer in the mood to try on gowns. She sat in the fitting room and covered her face as she cried. She thought that Huamin must be the reason why she couldn't go. In reality, it was indeed Huamin's idea. After Qin Chu hung up the phone with Jiang Linyue, he called Assistant Yang. What's going on with Jiang Linyue? I don't remember giving that kind of order, right? You're bold enough to give orders on behalf of me now, aren't you? Chin Chu asked coldly. Chapter 734. President Chin, you can't blame me, this is a young lady's idea, Assistant Yang immediately explained. Mian. When did she tell you to do this? Chin Chu was a bit surprised. A young lady just called and said she would talk to you personally, so I called President Jiang. Okay, I got it. President Chin, what should we do? Should we listen to a young lady or you? Assistant Yang asked hesitantly. Follow my wife's orders. Okay. Assistant Yang finally let out a sigh of relief upon hearing his boss's words. He believed that choosing a young lady was the right choice. His boss was indeed a loving husband from China. At a Western restaurant after eating with Jian Tong, it was almost time. Jian Tong waved her hand. Waiter, the bill please. President Su already paid the bill. How can I? President Su, I said I'd treat you. Jian Tong was a bit displeased. I don't have the habit of letting women spend money. Okay, that's it. President Su, thank you for dinner, I am very happy. Jian Tong smiled, picked up her bag, and left. Su Yu turned around and saw Wei Liao and Jiang Xiaowei were still eating, so he walked over and found an empty seat. You two seem to be very relaxed. Lin Fan said. It's a long night. What else could we be doing? Wei Liao laughed. What's Huamin doing these days? Su Yu looked at Jiang Xiaowei and asked. Nope, Jiang Xiaowei lowered her head and said impolitely. Ahem. Xiaowei is having her period today, so she's not in a good mood. Get out, you're the one who's having your period. Wei Liao, are you cursing me? Do you want me to make you sleep on the floor tonight? No, I'm kidding, haha. Su Yu leaned his hands on the table and looked at Jiang Xiaowei with interest. Dr. Jiang, do you have a misunderstanding about me? Jiang Xiaowei looked up, wiped her mouth, and looked at him. What do you think? I don't think you were like this before. What's wrong with you today? Su Yu smiled helplessly. I just can't stand the way you pretend to be infatuated with Huamin when you see him. You've troubled him, and now you're flirting with the female artists under your company. You've misunderstood me. It's true that I like Huamin, the whole world knows that I'm not trying to hide it, but I really haven't caused her any trouble. I don't even dare to look for her. As for Jian Tong, it's her birthday today, and I just transferred 1,000,000 yuan to her as a birthday present. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Yeah, Xiaowei. Lord Su isn't that kind of person. You've really misunderstood. So, can you tell me what Huamin has been up to lately? Su Yu looked at Jiang Xiaowei pitifully. Wasn't he speaking so humbly to a little girl just so he could find out about Huamin? She has been very busy lately. She's about to be promoted to a doctor. A doctor? Wei Liao and Su Yu were both surprised. Then, Jiang Xiaowei told them about how the director of South Side recommended Huamin for the exam. Su Yu's eyes were filled with admiration. That girl, she's really something, she can always do something extraordinary. Huamin is indeed amazing. She got promoted step by step on her own. If she relied on Chin Chu, she could have easily become the director of South Side, but she didn't do that. Yeah, she could have made a living with her looks, but she chose to rely on her talents. I like Huamin because I admire her, Jiang Xiaowei said without holding back. GK's 30-year anniversary is this weekend, do you plan on going? Wei Liao suddenly looked at Su Yu and asked. Let me remind you, Qin clan couples often do things that abuse single people, so you better think about it. Wei Liao felt bad for Su Yu. What happened on the cruise last time broke Su Yu's heart, and it was riddled with holes that couldn't be healed even after a long time. If he went to someone else's party, he might have been abused. Chapter 735. Of course, I have to go. Su Yu smiled nonchalantly. You're really asking for it. What's the big deal? I have to go. Not only that, but I also want everyone to remember me. You're not going to confess to her on stage, are you? Don't do that, Huamin will be stuck in a stalemate. Of course not, I don't want to cause trouble for her, and I don't want people to gossip about her. Then, Su Yu stood up. Okay, you two continue being lovey-dovey. I'm going to ask Tang Chuan out for a drink. Southside Recuperation Center, Qin Chu came to pick up Huamin on time. After she changed, she came out with her bag. She saw the Maybach parked at the door. You're on time. Huamin smiled. Where are we going to eat? Or do you want to cook at home? Qin Chu asked gently. Let's go to the old house. My mom just called me and said that Jixin went back. She asked us to go back and make a lot of food. Okay. Qin Chu nodded and then drove to the old house. On the way, he asked with a smile, Huh? What's that sour smell? Huamin didn't know what he meant. He sniffed and then looked confused. No, are you sure you smell it? Yeah, it's so sour. I don't know who spilled the vinegar jar. Mr. Qin, there's a hidden meaning in your words. Huamin originally thought that he was serious, but when he heard this, he felt like he was being played. Lady Qin is amazing. She killed her love rival before she even showed up. Mr. Qin, you're talking about T-City. Oh, I was just about to tell you about it. The accident happened not long ago, and if they come, the reporters will write nonsense and affect our company. Plus, they're still dealing with the aftermath, so it's better to keep a low profile. You're right. Qin Chu smiled. Am I serious? I didn't say you were lying. Qin Chu couldn't help but laugh. Fine, I'll be frank. I really hate that Jiang Linyue. I just don't want her to come. Understood, everything will be done according to your orders. Qin Chu seemed to agree with Huamin's approach. Then, do you think I'm fooling around? It's a good thing that you're jealous. It means that you have a sense of crisis and that you care about me. Since you're so self-aware, I don't have to worry about you anymore. With that, Huamin hugged Qin Chu's face and kissed him. When the two of them arrived at the old house, it was already 7:30. Yang Meirong had prepared a table full of delicious dishes. Jing Jixin busied himself with his mother in the dining room. However, Huang Yu was nowhere to be seen. Sis, brother-in-law. Jixin came out to greet them with a smile. Where's your girlfriend? Huamin asked with a smile. She had a class reunion today, so she didn't come. You guys are back, let's eat. Okay. Qin Chu and Huamin washed their hands and sat down at the table. The lights in the old house weren't very bright, but it was the dim yellow light that made it seem especially warm. Although Yang Meirong didn't say anything, she took the initiative to put food in Qin Chu's bowl twice. The pork trotters are pretty good, they're very fresh. You guys eat more. Thank you, Auntie. My mom's pork trotters don't lose to the dumbass pork trotters we had the other day. Eat more. Huamin also kept putting food in Qin Chu's bowl. Auntie. I have something to discuss with you. Qin Chu suddenly looked at Yang Meirong and said. What is it? Yang Meirong froze. Jing Jixin and Huamin both looked at Qin Chu, not knowing what he wanted to say. Chapter 736. Auntie, I've been having dinner with government officials and found out that your land is going to be lost. For the sake of urban development, the government has already designated your area as a demolition zone. So, no matter if you want to build low-rent housing or other developers, this place will be lost. The approval has already been received and will be notified around New Year's Day, in less than 2 months. Already. Jing Jixin was a bit surprised. Huamin was also a bit surprised. Qin Chu had never told him about this. Yang Meirong seemed calmer than he expected. I know, and I'm mentally prepared. I had a feeling that the whole corporation was going to be demolished. Sooner or later, your Auntie Wu and the others all have relatives working in the demolition office, so there's news that a new district is going to be built here. So, our old houses will be demolished sooner or later. Mom. Huamin really wanted to comfort his mother, but he didn't know what to say. Just then, Qin Chu said, "So, I've already found a new place for you and Jixin. It's a real estate owned by GK, in the new South City, not far from where Mian works. Considering that you're old and don't like living in the city center, I chose a place for you there. It's very green and has good air quality. It's a high-end building and it's also very safe, so you and Jixin will feel safe there. As for Jixin, don't worry, this house is for you when you're old. When Jixin gets married, I'll buy him a new house." Then, Qin Chu took out a few keys and placed them on the table. "Auntie, I'm sorry that I made the decision without your permission. The second building of Sky Blessing Court in the new city in the south is 220 square meters in total. It's already renovated and doesn't lack anything. You just need to move in. Also, considering that you like to grow vegetables, we've reserved a small vegetable garden for you. You're old now, and the layout of the one-story building suits you very well. Mian and I can go back to visit you often. Sky Blessing Court, I know that neighborhood. Didn't they say that it's as high as 25,000 yuan per square meter? Brother-in-law, you're so capricious, and yet you're asking for 220 yuan. Honey, how come I didn't know about this?" Huamin was so touched that he was about to die. Qin Chu did all this in silence. He didn't say a single word, which was really a surprise. Huamin looked at his mother worriedly. He thought that with her temper, she would decline. Unexpectedly, she picked up the key and said, "That's good. I can't stay here. I'll have to move away sooner or later. It's better to be closer to Mian. If you have children, I can help you take care of them." "Mom, did you agree?" Jixin asked excitedly. "Why are you still asking?" "Mom has already agreed. We'll have a new house in the future." "Thank you, Auntie." Qin Chu finally breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, Huamin's mother did not refuse. "We should be the ones thanking you. You're very thoughtful. This house must be very expensive, right?" "It's not expensive. Our company made it ourselves." Qin Chu smiled. "Mom, when are you moving out? Leave a room for me so I can go back and freeload." Huamin hugged his mother's shoulders and acted cute. The family was happy and harmonious. Before they left, Qin Chu took out an invitation. "Auntie, this is our company's 30-year anniversary celebration. You and Jixin have to go. Also, you can bring your friends too. There will be a Beijing opera performance." "That's great, there will be famous Beijing opera singers too. Auntie Wu and the others like her the most." Huamin's mother held 7 or 8 invitations in her hands and couldn't put them down. At the same time, she approved of Qin Chu from the bottom of her heart. He was too considerate, he was only trying to please them because he loved Huamin. Love Huamin, love Huamin. On the way back, Qin Chu suddenly said, "Honey, shouldn't my brother-in-law get a new car? Isn't the Chevrolet a bit cheap?" Chapter 737. You're crazy, he's just a kid, don't be so high profile. Ever since Hwasi beat Ji-shin up, she was even more worried that something would happen to him. Therefore, she didn't agree to give him a better car, but he's my brother-in-law now, everyone knows that. So what? We can't change cars, we'll talk about it after he graduates. Okay, I'll listen to you. Ching-chu didn't say anything else upon seeing how insistent Hwamin was. The two of them went home together. The next morning, Hwamin drove directly to Ni Yang's place to give him all sorts of checkups. Ever since Livy magazine was released, Ni Yang gained millions of fans. He became the hottest superstar in China, with endless films and endorsements. However, Hwamin didn't want him to have so much work. Instead, he arranged for the company to carefully select the scripts for him. Endorsements were based on the products, and the best ones were selected. Therefore, even though Ni Yang had a lot of work, he didn't overload himself. After Director Lee gave Ni Yang all sorts of checkups, she nodded at Hwamin. You're recovering well, much better than I expected. Have you been working out lately? Yeah, I run every morning. Speaking of which, your husband is so generous, the scenery in the mansion he gave me is amazing. There's even a lake nearby, so I run every morning. There are very few people, so it's very private. Then keep it up, it's good for you. Hwamin smiled. Sister Hwamin, you're coming to the 30-year anniversary celebration, right? Of course. I told President Qin that I wanted to sing with you, but he refused. He said that your singing is too good, and he's afraid that people won't be able to take it. Hwamin was speechless. Did he really say that? Yeah, so I'm curious, how good is your singing? Can you show it to me? No. Hwamin knew that Mr. Qin was mocking her. Other people needed money to sing, but her singing was more like asking for lives. So many people are performing for the 30th anniversary. Did you and your wife not do anything? That hasn't been decided yet. It depends on the situation. When they came back, Director Lee, who was sitting in the passenger seat, said meaningfully, I heard that you will give President Wu a final answer tonight. Yes. I really hope you'll come to the neurology department. I haven't seen such an outstanding child like you in a long time, Chief Lee said in a meaningful tone. When the time comes, President Wu will announce the results. I still don't know if I have the confidence to pass the exam. Definitely. Director Lee had full confidence in Hwamin. When she returned to South Side, she began to get busy with work. At lunch. Head nurse, dinner is ready. Let's go to the cafeteria. You guys go first. I still have some information to sort out. Hwamin was so engrossed in his work that he didn't hear anyone enter. Hey. Dr. Hua. Someone suddenly knocked on the table. Hwamin jumped in fright when he heard the sound. When she saw that it was Su-yu, she cursed, Are you trying to scare me to death? You were so focused that you didn't hear me knock. What are you doing here? Hwamian was speechless to see Su-yu at South Side in the middle of the day. Dr. Hua, I'm here to see a doctor. What do you want to see? Sexual dysfunction. Hwamin was angry. Su-yu scared her just now, so she decided to take revenge. Su-yu, I suggest you go to a reproductive health center for this condition. We can't treat it here. You brat, do you feel bad if you don't mock me for a day? Su-yu was speechless. Chapter 738. Who told you to scare me on purpose? Don't you know that you can scare people to death? Okay, I'll apologize, okay. Hwamin ignored him and continued to look at the documents. Dr. Hua, I really need to see a doctor. My right wrist has been hurting lately. Then you should go to a professional orthopedic hospital. We're a sanatorium, and our goal is to recuperate. I know, but aren't we close? Please. Seeing that Suyu's eyes were more sincere, Min finally put down the documents in his hands helplessly. Come with me. Suyu stood up with a smile and followed behind Min. After all, Min was not a professional doctor. She brought Suyu to the orthopedic consultation room. Fortunately, one of the doctors had not eaten yet and was still in the office. Dr. Sun, please take a look at my friend. He said his right hand hurts. 10 minutes later, the two of them walked out of the consultation room. Did you hear that? The doctor said you're a mouse hand. You've been using the mouse for too long. It's causing strain on the muscles in your wrist. Okay. Suyu nodded and followed behind Min. Okay then, remember to put on some painkillers. I'm going to eat first, I'm starving. I haven't eaten either. Suyu looked aggrieved. I'm going to eat at our hospital's cafeteria. Are you sure you want to come with me? When he thought of this, Suyu remembered the Chinese cabbage he ate with Tang Chuan here with Min last time. That taste was so sour and refreshing. However, in order to spend more time with Min, he nodded firmly. He looked like he was ready to go all out. Min smiled and brought Suyu to the cafeteria. Today's lunch was very simple, 1 meat dish, 1 vegetable dish, and 1 soup. The meat dish was braised pork ribs, and the ingredients were stir-fried broccoli. The soup was beef and radish soup. The rice was yellow, sticky, fragrant, and soft. Since they had arrived late, there weren't that many people left. Not many people recognized Suyu because he deliberately lowered his head. Then, he sat down in a corner with Min. Suyu was a little surprised when he took the first bite. The rice tastes so much better. Did you change the rice cooker? Min smiled but didn't say anything. Suyu tried to take a bite of the sweet and sour pork ribs. Fuck, that expression was extremely shocked. How can it be so delicious? Is there something wrong with my taste buds? Suyu looked at Min. No, actually, our hospital changed the chef. You should have changed it a long time ago. Compared to the previous one, it's like heaven and earth. Dogs wouldn't even like to eat the previous one. This one is really delicious. It's not any worse than the ones made in big restaurants. Min only smiled and didn't say anything else. In fact, the old canteen had been monopolized by Deputy Dinggua's relatives, so they had no choice. Now, the hospital took it back, and the new dean was very capable. After the canteen was filled with delicious food, everyone's mood improved. Suyu actually didn't have a big appetite. A bowl of rice was enough to fill him up. However, in order to stall for time, he deliberately yelled, "Give me some more food, I'm not full yet." How can you eat so much? Did you do it on purpose because you swiped my meal card? Do you think I'm a sucker? Ha, don't be so stingy, I can give you some food. No need. Really, add me on WeChat and I'll send you a red packet. No need. Min didn't fall for it at all. He got up and went to get him some more food. After they finished eating, the two slowly walked out of the canteen. Min. Yes. I heard you're going to take an exam. If you pass, you can become an official doctor. You're quite well informed. Min smiled. She guessed that Jiang Xiaowei and Wei Liao must have told him. I wish you all the best. Okay, I'll try my best. After leaving Southside, Suyu was in a good mood. He drove all the way back to the corporation. Min was busy all the way until it was almost time to get off work. Her phone rang in the consultation room. Hello. Min, have you thought about your choice? President Wu's slightly older voice came from the other end. Chapter 739. I've thought about it. Which department? The truth was, President Wu was also looking forward to Huamin's choice. Neurology. Ah, good, I knew I was right about you. If Director Li hears this, she'll be so happy that she won't be able to sleep. President Wu was in a great mood and laughed heartily. That's only my choice, but I'm still unfamiliar with neurology, so I might not be able to pass the exam. If I embarrass you, I hope you won't scold me. We all know how capable you are. Work hard, I'll arrange a time for you to take the exam as soon as possible. President Wu, what is it? Huamin suddenly said just as he was about to hang up. How's Xiaoxue doing in Chicago? She's doing well, she'll need some time to get used to it. Her parents are both there, don't worry. What about the baby? Xinyue is very good and healthy, President Wu said lovingly. That's good. I already fired Ning Ziyuan. Because of this, he caused a scene at the hospital and went to the forums to smear our reputation. I think he's a bit extreme, so you should stay away from him. Emichim, I will. Okay, that's all. After hanging up with President Wu, Qin Chu's mood suddenly lightened up. In the end, Huamin decided to stay true to her heart. Qin Chu was right, she chose neurology. Xiao Wei would probably be even happier to hear this news, because neurology and psychology had a lot in common. Would she be able to ask Dr. Jiang for help if she didn't understand anything? Huamin thought happily as she left the hospital. Tomorrow was the company's 30th anniversary celebration. Therefore, GK's headquarters worked overtime tonight. Huamin ordered a lot of food and drinks online and delivered them to GK's employees. She also personally bought some soup dumplings and vegetable congee for Qin Chu. Outside the president's office, a young lady, Assistant Yang, said. Is President Qin here? Yes, but Miss Annie Liang is also inside. Huamin nodded, pushed open the door, and entered with the lunchbox. President Qin, it's time to rest. Here's your supper. Huamin placed the food box on the dining table. Annie Liang sat on the sofa with her wavy hair. Her lips were painted bright red. It felt very ostentatious. She was wearing a short skirt, revealing her fair legs. What's the situation? Looking at Annie Liang, then looking at Qin Chu, Huamin smiled and asked. Honey, you came at the right time. You can tell her. I'm busy right now and don't have time to deal with it. Afterwards, Qin Chu continuously answered phone calls regarding tomorrow's venue and tonight's rehearsal. There were also a lot of foreign celebrities who had made arrangements for their accommodations that night. Do you see that? Boss Qin is busy. You can tell me if you have something to say. Can a young lady make the decision? Annie Liang looked at Huamin with disdain. If you don't believe me, you can open the door and leave. We have nothing to talk about. Here's the thing. Why do I have to sing with 3 other people at tomorrow's party? There's only a few lines in a song, and I have to sing with 4 other people. What the hell? Tomorrow night's ratings will be very high. I want to sing or dance alone, and Ni Yang and Nimo Shui both have time to perform alone. Why should I? The president is too biased. Annie Liang was a very troublesome woman. She liked to find fault and compare herself to others. She didn't even reflect on whether she was more famous than them. Oh, so Miss Liang is unhappy with our arrangement. Quite unhappy. I don't even know how those people do things. I, Annie Liang, have won the Best Actress award before. Why do I have to sing with those second-rate singers? Not only is it degrading, it's so embarrassing. If that's the case, I might as well not show up. Annie Liang said arrogantly. As soon as she entered the president's office, she started acting coquettishly towards Qin Chu. However, Qin Chu took one call after another and ignored her. Therefore, she stayed on the sofa and refused to leave. What do you think, Miss Liang? Huamin sat across from her and asked with a smile. Do you even need to ask? Of course I have time to sing alone. It's best if it's between 8 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. That's when most people are watching, Annie Liang said arrogantly as she crossed her legs. Chapter 740. Huamin smiled but didn't say anything. What are you laughing at? Annie Liang looked at Huamin in an unfriendly manner. Ni Yang has 40 million followers on Weibo, Mo Shui has 55 million followers, and Miss Liang, you only have 7 million. Annie Liang immediately looked at Huamin with disdain and said, they bought zombie fans, mine is the real deal. Don't panic, listen to me. Ni Yang posts on Weibo, and within 24 hours, there are 100,000 reposts, 180,000 likes, and 90,000 comments. Mo Shui posts on Weibo, and within 24 hours, there are 170,000 reposts, 210,000 likes, and 110,000 comments. Miss Liang, you, on the other hand, claim that your numbers are the real deal. You have 7 million followers, and within 24 hours, there are 5,000 reposts, 20,000 likes, and 2,000 comments. Perhaps it was a bit embarrassing to be exposed by Huamin. Annie Liang looked down and played with her nails. She said in disdain, that doesn't mean anything. The numbers on Weibo can be manipulated by the Internet Water Army, including the number of people attending concerts, album sales, and box office sales. But the company's profit numbers can't be faked. I've already seen the financial statements. Ever since Mo Shui signed with GK, she's accepted 3 movies, 7 endorsements, and a spy drama. The pay for the drama is 4 million per episode, and there are 50 episodes in total. Ni Yang, on the other hand, has accepted 2 movies, 3 endorsements, 1 mobile game endorsement, and 7 music festivals. You, on the other hand, haven't received any offers since you came to GK. You didn't get any movies, but you did get 2 TV dramas. However, the pay is 100,000 per episode, which doesn't match your net worth, so the company didn't agree. That means, after the 3 of you signed with GK, the profits you've made are less than 2,000ths of Mo Shui and Ni Yang's. GK is a business, and our goal is to make profits. We're not a charity, so we value data. As for Miss Liang's scandal after you signed with GK, we've been trying to fix it. It's bad enough that you're not grateful, but now you're forcing yourself to show up at the gala, giving President Qin a hard time, and ignoring the company's arrangements. Do you think it's a good idea to compare yourself to other artists? Me. Liang Anyue thought that even though Huamin was a young lady, she was just a nurse at the hospital. She didn't know anything other than the president's love for her. Therefore, he didn't think highly of Huamian. But to his surprise, Huamian presented him with so much data. Those words just now had left her speechless, and she was too ashamed to show her face. You know, according to the contract, the negative news about you has already affected the company, so we can completely freeze you. You might say that the company will lose money if we freeze you, since we signed you with a huge sum of money. But let me tell you, GK has always had a lot of money, so we won't care about your signing fee. President Qin is a fair man, and he's willing to give every artist a chance. He doesn't want to block your path to stardom, so you should be grateful instead of taking the opportunity to make things difficult for him. Threatening the boss won't do you any good, really, think about it. As for your request to appear in the primetime slot of the gala, I can tell you with certainty that it's impossible. The program has already been arranged, so you can either sing with us, or you can choose not to appear and we'll replace you with someone else. If you want to jump ship back to Imperial Star, that's fine too. But I hope that President Su is willing to pay you 180 million yuan in liquidated damages. After speaking, Huamin ignored her and walked over to Qin Chu. Annie Liang's face had already turned completely pale. Huamin's words struck a chord in her heart. Originally, she wanted to use this opportunity to scare her boss and tell him that she could go back to Imperial Star if things didn't work out. However, she knew that President Su wouldn't pay her that much for the liquidated damages. She wasn't worth that much anyway. She originally wanted to act coquettishly in front of President Qin and ask him to give her a good time slot. However, she was unlucky and ran into the boss's wife, who made her intentions very clear. You can choose to freeze her or sing with her. Annie Liang thought for a moment, then stood up and said, President Qin, a young lady, I'm still willing to listen to the company's arrangements. Thank you for what a young lady said. Go back, be at the hotel on time tomorrow. Huamin smiled. After Annie Liang left, Qin Chu looked up at Huamin and smiled. Honey, why did you waste so much time talking to her? Just ban him directly. Chapter 741. Forgive and Forget. Plus, Annie Liang didn't go back when Imperial Star's artists collectively breached the contract and put our company in danger, right? She signed a real contract and didn't dare to go back because she couldn't afford to pay the penalty. To put it bluntly, she's just a pawn that Su Yu abandoned. Even so, I'm still grateful that she didn't kick us when we're down. Although she doesn't use her brain when she speaks, she's still a good person. She's much better than those women who pretend to be nice on the surface but are actually scheming behind our backs. I'm actually quite willing to support her. When did my wife get involved in politics? Qin Chu put down the documents in his hands and couldn't help but laugh. I saw that Mr. Qin was working too hard, so I wanted to share your burden. If you don't want me to, I won't. Don't. My wife's so smart, you have to help me. Qin Chu had been busy for almost half a month for the 30-year anniversary, and today was the last day. Everyone at GK headquarters was working overtime to welcome the 30-year anniversary. Honey, I'm going to have dinner with a few old performing artists from out of town. They didn't come because of the money, but because they were moved by my sincerity. The older generation of artists are very respectable. But aside from them, there are also government officials, so it's a business dinner. Do you want to come with me? No, I hate business dinners, you know that. Okay, then what do you want to eat later? Ask Yang to buy it for you, or you can drive there yourself. Okay. Just then, Yang knocked on the door and walked in. Sir, it's almost time. The dinner party is about to start. Okay. Qin Chu got up and kissed Huamin's face reluctantly, then, he went to attend a business dinner. Huamin originally wanted to have dinner with her husband, but it seemed like she wouldn't be able to. A young lady, what do you want to eat? I'll order it for you, or I'll buy it for you. It's okay, talk to the finance department and arrange supper for my colleagues who are working late. I'll take care of it myself. Okay, a young lady. Huamin then went downstairs and sent a WeChat message to Zhu Lingling. However, this guy said that she was doing her hair. Come on, tomorrow was GK's 30th anniversary. Why were they so enthusiastic? She sent Jixin a WeChat message, but Jixin was at a basketball game at school. It was Huang Yu who replied. Huamin sent a WeChat message to Jiang Xiaowei with his last glimmer of hope. In the end, it was Wei Liao who replied that she was still asleep. It's already past 6:00 in the evening, and she's still not up yet. Are you two trying to defy the heavens? Huamin was speechless. In the end, she drove around the city center by herself, but she still didn't find anything she wanted to eat. Seafood, cuisine, Thai pineapple rice, hot pot, barbecue, none of them wanted to eat. In the end, the car drove to the main entrance of Second High. It happened to be the evening self-study period. The students walked into the school one after another. Some of the girls were holding milk tea in their hands and wearing school uniforms. Some of the boys were holding basketballs, while others were holding books. Hwa-min immediately recalled the memories of her youth. After watching the kids walk in, she drove around to the back of Second High. Aoksan's Ramen. Yes, it was this small noodle restaurant. The simple and delicious ramen always made Hwa-min satisfied. Boss, 1 bowl of ramen. I want a big bowl with extra beef. I'm so hungry. She was like a little girl, yelling as soon as she walked in, okay. The owner was very familiar with Hwa-min, so he immediately began to prepare the ramen. She was in a good mood, so she took out her phone and took a selfie. At 6:00, the sky wasn't dark yet. The sun was setting, and the light was beautiful and soft. Hwa-min took a selfie wearing a coffee-colored trench coat with her hair tied up in a bun. She posted it on her WeChat Moments and added, "Familiar street, familiar smell." Immediately, people commented. Hwa Si-chin and Soo-yu were attending a business dinner. The two of them sat next to each other. Hwa Si-chin lowered his head and played with his phone. Soo-yu immediately leaned over and saw Hwa-min's photo. He couldn't help but snatch Hwa Si-chin's phone and put it in his own hand. Hey! Lord Soo, you shouldn't do this, right? Hwa Si-chin smiled helplessly. Chapter 742. Soo-yu was just that domineering. After seeing Hwa-min's selfie, he refused to return her phone. Instead, he commented on Hwa-min's selfie. No smoky makeup, bad. Hwa-min was scrolling through the comments when she saw Hwa Si-chin's comment. She was about to explode. Do you want to die? She replied domineeringly. Little sister Mian, that comment was made by Soo-yu who stole my phone. It's obviously not mine. It's not my style, ah. It made sense. The only person who dared to make fun of Hwa-min's smoky makeup was Soo-yu, who was not afraid of death. You're with him? Yeah, we ran into each other at dinner, Hwa Si-chin replied honestly. Okay, keep an eye on your phone from now on. If I find out that you're messing around again, I'll blacklist you. Yes, princess. After Hwa Si-chin replied, she immediately put her phone back into her pocket. How did she react? Soo-yu asked in an annoyed tone. She almost blacklisted me. Hwa Si-chin glanced at him faintly. Ha ha ha, she can't stay calm when you criticize her. How can she criticize others so easily? You don't have to reason with my little sister Mian, because her words are the truth. Okay, why do I feel like you're a little siscon? I'm not a siscon, I'm a siscon, okay? Hwa Si-chin replied proudly. Isn't that the same thing? You people from the Hwa family are all weirdos. Soo-yu commented. The Hwa family hasn't produced a girl as smart as her in 100 years. Hwa Si-chin smiled meaningfully. Then, Hwa-min ate her delicious ramen alone. She didn't forget to send a WeChat message to Chin-chu. She didn't say anything and directly sent a picture. You're at Aoksan's Ramen. Chin-chu immediately understood. Correct. How blissful. Eat more. Chin-chu sent her a smiley face. He had secretly sent WeChat messages to Hwa-min when he was busy. The old leaders of the government and the old artists felt like old friends at first sight. He couldn't really get a word in, but with his status, people would often take the initiative to toast him. Chin-chu didn't have to drink on other occasions, but since they came all the way here to celebrate GK's 30-year anniversary, he had to drink. Therefore, it was rare for Chin-chu to be a little drunk. After finishing the ramen, Hwa-min didn't go straight home because she was still busy at the company. Instead, she drove back to GK. She wanted to wait for Chin-chu to get off work together. Little Yang and the others were also working like crazy. Huamin basically signed everything that needed to be signed. Looking at the time, it was almost 9 o'clock. Huamin was a little sleepy and fell asleep on the sofa. In her hazy state, she felt someone touch her lips. At first, she thought it was a dream, but it felt more and more real. She was so scared that she suddenly opened her eyes and saw Chin Chu's face right in front of her. His perfect face was still as attractive as ever, but today, he reeked of alcohol. "When did you come back? You scared me. Just now. Are you drunk?" "No." "Liar, all drunk people say that they're not drunk." "How did you come back?" "Drunk driving." Huamin was a little surprised. "I went to the company, the driver drove my car back." "That's good, let's go." "You're so drunk, you can't do work anymore. Let's go home." Huamin grabbed his hand and walked out. However, after a few steps, Chin Chu suddenly stopped and pulled him back. He pulled Huamin back to his side and kissed him passionately in front of all the employees. Huamin was petrified. If he remembered correctly, he was so busy working overtime today that there were probably dozens of people on this floor. The busy employees were first surprised, then they all burst into thunderous applause, as if they admired their boss' courage. Ni Yang had just finished rehearsing and was about to report back to the company when he saw this erotic scene. He immediately covered his eyes and laughed. "It's not suitable for children." "What's going on?" "President Qin and a young lady are going to perform a kiss tomorrow." Sister Ingzi was also speechless. Chapter 743. Huamin must be crazy for kissing in front of so many employees. However, Chin Chu was extremely domineering and didn't allow her to say no. She had no choice but to cater to him. After a minute, Chin Chu finally let go of her. "Isn't my wife pretty?" he seemed to be asking everyone. "A young lady is pretty," the employees answered. "Young madam, you're devastatingly beautiful," Xiao Yang flattered. "My wife is the best woman in the world." "That's right, everything you say is right." "My wife." Chin Chu wanted to say more, but Huamin covered his mouth. She smiled at everyone apologetically. "Go back to work, we're leaving now. President Qin is drunk." "A young lady, I'll drive you guys home." "It's okay, I have a lot of things to take care of here." "You can stay, I'll drive." Huamin dragged Chin Chu downstairs. "Huamin, your husband seems to be a bit out of control," Ni Yang said. "Don't mention it. I'll deal with him when I get home. You should get off work now. Don't be late tomorrow, or else you'll be punished by military law." "I'll be on time." President Qin and young madam are actually very childish sometimes. They both look very mature, but after all, they're only 20 years old. There's still a very funny side to them. The manager, Sister Ingzi, sighed. "Yeah, but they're a good match. I always thought they were the perfect couple. They're a match made in heaven." Sister Ingzi smiled. After Huamin went downstairs, he put Chin Chu in the passenger seat and got into the driver's seat. "Honey, I'm thirsty. Here." Huamin handed him a bottle of Evian. "Honey, I'm hungry. Wait until we get home, I'll make you some noodles." "Honey, Huamin, I really can't help you with that. We can't have car sex, right?" Huamin replied in a low-key manner. "Honey, you're thinking too much. I said I want to live with you at South Hill Manor." Chin Chu was half drunk and half sober. He opened his eyes and looked at Huamin. She looked very serious when she was driving and was quite handsome. He even dared to drive a Maybach at a speed of 80 kilometers per hour. "Okay, let's go home to Nanshan Hill." As for the drunk Chin Chu, Huamin decided not to lower himself to his level, because his IQ was like that of a child's. He thought that there wouldn't be any traffic police at night, but there was an intersection before the highway. Unfortunately, he was stopped. The young-looking young man mercilessly stopped her car, and motioned for her to pull over. "I'm so unlucky to be caught like this. I was just a little bit over the speed limit." Huamin was a law-abiding child. He wouldn't run a red light unless it was an emergency. He also wouldn't drive in the wrong direction, nor would he force himself to change lanes and do something so immoral. Today was definitely an exception. Her Mr. Chin was drunk, so she drove a little bit faster. Drunk driving test. Okay. Huamin cooperated and blew into the device. Then, it actually showed that the alcohol content was over the limit. Drunk driving? Get out of the car. Drunk driving? Are you kidding me? My husband was drunk, that's why I was driving. You drank too? No, absolutely not. Huamin had ramen and a bottle of mineral water for dinner. There was no alcohol at all. But my device shows that you were drunk driving. Impossible, that's because your device is broken. Seeing how confident Huamin was, the traffic police was a little dumbfounded. He turned around and waved his hand. He called another one of his companions over. Bring me your instrument. So, he took out another one and tested it. The result was the same. How is that possible? Huamin was a little dumbfounded. Then, she suddenly thought of a serious problem. Although she didn't drink, before she left the company, Chin Chu had pulled her over for a drink. Was it because the alcohol in his mouth still lingered between her teeth? Was that why? Oh my God. How could she have overlooked that? She wanted to explain, but she didn't know how to. Driver's license. Huamin obediently handed it over. Just then, the other traffic police officer looked at the license plate and carefully pulled the traffic police officer over. I said, we can't stop this car. This is a big shot's car, we can't afford to offend him. He's the only top-notch Maybach in the city. Even the director of the Transportation Bureau can't afford to offend him. The traffic police officer was dumbfounded. But this is a Maybach, what did you think? I thought the Maybach was a magenta. The traffic police officer wanted to cry but had no tears. So, officers, can we go now? Huamin asked with a smile behind them. Chapter 744. Okay, we're sorry, we made a mistake. Please forgive us for causing you trouble. The other traffic police officer was smarter. It's okay. Huamin smiled elegantly, took back his driver's license, and got into the car. At that moment, Mr. Chin had already fallen asleep in the passenger seat, as quiet as a child. Haha, you said I lost control because I was drunk, but I don't think you're any better. Then, Huamin started the car and drove all the way to South Hill Manor. A young lady, young master. Uncle Lee, the butler, saw their car arrive and came out to greet them. Uncle Lee, he's drunk. Prepare some hangover soup. Okay, a young lady. Huamin put Chin Chu's arm on his shoulder and helped him walk to the bedroom with difficulty. He helped him change his clothes and take a shower, then, he got him onto the bed. Get up, drink some hangover soup. Chin Chu drowsily got up and drank the soup Huamin was holding. Then, he went back to sleep. He drank a bit too much tonight. Alcohol made people excited and magnified everything. Even someone as cold as Chin Chu would do something as outrageous as flirting with his wife in public. The good thing was that they were inside GK. If they were on the street and were photographed by the media, what would they say? Midnight, Huamin took a hot shower and went to bed. It had been a tiring day. She went from South Side to GK, from GK to Second High, and then back to GK. Her legs were sore. She was rubbing body lotion with a bottle. Suddenly, Chin Chu seemed to be mumbling something inaudible. She leaned in close to his mouth and listened carefully. He said, "Don't break up with me, please. Let's go to America together and be together forever." Huamin's heart ached upon hearing this. 7 years ago, Uncle Jing got into an accident. She was supposed to go abroad with Chin Chu, but she broke her promise. At the graduation ceremony, she publicly denied their relationship and unilaterally announced that she was breaking up with him. It was a huge blow to him. He didn't say a word, didn't complain, and went abroad quietly for 7 years. She thought he was living a good life, but now that she thought about it, he felt so insecure during those 7 years. He missed her all the time. He had to fulfill his promise to his father and worry about whether she would marry someone else. He was suffering twice as much pain as the others. No matter how powerful he was, Chin Chu was still a man. He could feel heartache and cry. The only sad thing in his life was when Huamian stood him up 7 years ago and broke up with him. "Hubby. I'm sorry. I'll be a good wife in the future to make up for the 7 years we missed." Then, Chin Chu's kissed Chin Chu's forehead. The night was chilly. Neon lights flashed in South Hill Manor, and a colorful fountain flowed quietly. In this castle, Prince, Chin, and Love, a couple's, Chu, Love, and Love. Morning. When Chin Chu woke up, his head still hurt. Huamin handed him a glass of water. "Here, drink this. I made some hangover medicine myself, it's very powerful." "Honey, did I drink too much last night?" "No, you just me in front of dozens of people at the company." Chin Chu, his expression looked like he had been electrocuted. "Did I do anything else that crossed the line?" "You did. You ran naked on the street. I couldn't even stop you," Huamin said slowly. Chin Chu's hand, which was holding the hangover medicine, trembled slightly. His expression was as interesting as it could get. Chapter 745. In the end, Huamin couldn't help but laugh. "Ha ha ha. I didn't know you'd be scared. I thought you'd always be this arrogant and never be scared." "Really?" Chin Chu didn't even dare to imagine running around naked. "Of course not, you're my husband, how could you show off your body to others? But I need to tell you seriously, don't drink so much in the future. I'm not the only one who lost control after getting drunk." "Okay, I'll listen to my wife." Chin Chu smiled and took some hangover medicine. Then, the two of them went downstairs for breakfast. "Sir, a young lady just delivered the gowns and stylists. They're all waiting in the dressing room." "Got it." Huamin nodded. After breakfast, they began to change and put on makeup. Starting at 9 a.m. today, they would be walking the red carpet. The show would begin at 11 a.m. and end at 3 p.m. Afterwards, they would set off fireworks. In short, they spent the entire day celebrating GK's 30th anniversary. At 8:55 a.m., Chin Chu and Huamin arrived at the event. The hotel where the meeting took place was surrounded by a sea of people and reporters. Chin Chu was wearing a black suit, while Huamin was wearing a white mermaid gown. She was wearing an off-shoulder gown with a white flower on her wrist, making her look extremely elegant. The appearance of the two of them caused the audience to scream. Many media outlets fought to report on this event. "Ladies and gentlemen in front of the TV, I'm walking the red carpet in front of the Ritz-Carlton Hotel. The gala is about to begin. GK's president, Chin Chu, and his wife, Huamin, have just arrived. The atmosphere is great, let's take a look at what's going on." Chin Chu held Huamin's hand and slowly walked down the red carpet. Then, the two of them stood in the middle of the red carpet, allowing the media to take photos and videos. Then, they took autographs from the hostess and elegantly signed their names on the wall. Huamin's signature was very elegant. There were no flashy cursive strokes, nor were there any formal or regular script to show off. There were only two simple words, Huamin, but the handwriting was neat and elegant. Then, Qin Chu, Huamin, and a few other important city council leaders rang the gong to announce the start of the gala. Then, celebrities began to walk down the red carpet. After Qin Chu left the stage, he went straight to the hotel's lounge to arrange the next speech. Huamian stood below the stage and was about to take a break when she was surrounded by reporters. A young lady, could you tell us how you're feeling right now? I'm very excited to witness GK's 30th anniversary. My husband and I have been looking forward to it for a long time. Thank you for your support. Young madam, I heard that your relationship with your mother-in-law has improved. Is that true? I'm STSSSST, a young lady. There's a rumor going around that you're pregnant, is that true? I'll let you guys know if there's good news. Thank you for your attention. Huamin continued to smile. A young lady, about Ni Yang and Nimo Shui, is GK doing any big promotions in the second half of the year? We've accepted a few movies, and they're in the process of being filmed. Please follow the official announcement for details. Thank you. A young lady, there's a rumor going around that a third party is involved in your relationship. Is the third party a man or a woman? We're in a great relationship, there's no third party. A young lady, are you done with T-City? I heard that the victim's family isn't happy with the compensation and is going to appeal. We have a professional team of lawyers working on it. I believe in our country's laws, and we'll do whatever the court decides to do. I'm sure we'll give everyone a fair answer. A young lady, there's a rumor going around that Southside Recuperation Center is shady and doesn't pay for surgeries. They only care about money and don't care about the patients' lives. What do you think? There were indeed reporters who didn't care about their own lives. They constantly attacked Huamin, and the questions they asked were impossible to answer. Chapter 746. The truth was, Huamin didn't have to answer, but she didn't evade the question. She was truly welcoming. It's simple, it's the same all over the country. In the past, there were cases where patients didn't pay for surgery, but the doctors and nurses who performed the surgery had to pay for it. So, it's a matter of opinion. If it's really because they don't have the money, Southside's Corporation will help them. If it's because they want to take advantage of the situation, then I'm sorry, the medical staff at Southside are angels in white, but we're not a charity organization. We don't have the ability to pay for this. Huamin's answers were flawless. She faced all the questions thrown at her by the media, and many of the questions were sensitive and mean. However, she didn't get angry, and instead, she answered them patiently. This left a good impression on the media. After the interview, Huamin ordered the company to distribute drinks and snacks to the media, which won her a round of applause. My sister. It's such a shame that she didn't enter the business world and chose to be a doctor. Otherwise, she would have been a career woman. Not far away, Hua Xiqin sat in the RV and watched the live broadcast with a smile on his face. After Huamin finished her interview, she walked into the hotel and saw many guests checking in one after another. Girl. When she heard someone call her, she turned her head and saw Zhu Lingling in a pink gown. She was no longer wearing heavy makeup. Instead, she looked soft and tender, and her makeup was very beautiful. Gao Ran was wearing a navy blue slim-fit suit. Beside her, they seemed to be in sync with each other. Did you two spend the night together? Why are you so in sync today? Pfft. I can't believe you're still making fun of us on a day like this. It doesn't fit your identity as a young lady, okay? Zhu Lingling chuckled. You two should go in and sit down. The seats are great, the view is great. Oh, thank you, big girl, moi. Zhu Lingling intimately pinched Huamin's face and held on to Gao Ran's hand as they walked inside. However, they ran into an uninvited guest at the corner, Lin Shuajiao. She actually came too. The most surprising thing was that she was wearing the same color as Zhu Lingling's dress, but the style was different. Fuck. I can't believe they're wearing the same outfit. How unlucky can I be? Zhu Lingling cursed in her mind. There was a young man standing beside Lin Shuajiao. He must be a rich second-generation heir as well. Gao Ran heard that she later hooked up with a rich man and it seemed like they were about to get engaged. It was just that they didn't expect to bump into each other on such an occasion. It was simply a narrow path. Hey, what a coincidence. Lin Shuajiao greeted him. Jiao Jiao, are they your friends? The man looked at Gao Ran and asked. Oh, no, he's my colleague from our bureau. Lin Shuajiao directly denied that she had ever dated Gao Ran. This green tea bitch was truly intoxicating. Zhu Lingling didn't care so much and said directly, Dear, I didn't expect to meet your ex-girlfriend here. What a coincidence. Ex-girlfriend? The man was a little surprised. Lin Shuajiao's expression changed slightly and she immediately explained, My family tried to set us up, but we didn't succeed. Then, Lin Shuajiao looked at Zhu Lingling and teased, What a coincidence, our dresses are the same color. The only difference is that mine is the latest European style, while yours is from early spring. There's a difference of 2 seasons. Yeah, with my income, I can only wear an outdated style. I can't compare to Miss Lin. You're getting rich faster than I can change clothes. You have a lot of money, so of course you don't lack money. It's not surprising that you're wearing a limited edition style. You. Lin Shuajiao was furious when she heard Zhu Lingling's sarcastic remarks. Ha! I'm just joking, don't take it seriously. Okay, enough chit-chat, we're going in to watch the show. After speaking, Zhu Lingling held on to Gao Ran's arm and walked in intimately. Dear, don't listen to that woman's nonsense. She's just jealous that she's wearing the same outfit as me, but she's not as pretty as me. After Gao Ran and the others went in, Lin Shuajiao quickly explained to her boyfriend. Min was waiting for Jixin and his mother, but they were nowhere to be seen. He couldn't get through to them on the phone either. Just then, he saw Jiang Xiaowei and Wei Liao from afar. Wei Liao was wearing a black tuxedo, and Jiang Xiaowei was wearing a long aqua blue dress that trailed on the floor. They looked very elegant. Other than Tang Chuan, there was also Su Yu, who was wearing a white suit. Min. Jiang Xiaowei smiled and waved her hand. Min walked towards them. Chapter 747. Hey, you guys are here. Min's you guys summed up everyone. You look beautiful today. Jiang Xiaowei intimately held on to Min's hand. You're dressed beautifully too, young Master Wei is so generous. It's okay for my woman to spend more money. Wei Liao looked at Jiang Xiaowei with a sweet gaze. Although Min hadn't hung out with them recently, he could tell that they were in a good mood. He guessed that they were getting along quite well. The Jiang family was a scholarly family, and Jiang Xiaowei was a straight-A student. The Wei family was a prestigious aristocrat, and Wei Liao was a second-generation rich kid. People said that money wasn't everything in this day and age, but it was absolutely impossible to live without money. Poor couples had 100 sorrows, and there were often couples who quarreled because they had no money. However, there had never been a couple who fought because they had too much money. Therefore, foreign experts said that a beautiful marriage was built on the foundation of money, and there was nothing wrong with that. I just saw your interview, your answers were amazing, just like Min. Wei Liao gave him a thumbs up. I was just trying to get rid of the media, don't make fun of me. Min, I heard that you chose neurology. Yup. I love you so much. After the ceremony, I'll talk to you about academics. Jiang Xiaowei was a workaholic. No problem, I'll wait for you. You two are so dedicated, you don't even forget to talk about work in a situation like this. Wei Liao chuckled. Tang Chuan nudged Su Yu from behind. Go, Lord Su, it's rare for us to meet and talk. Hey. Su Yu was surprisingly reserved. Huamin smiled and nodded. I think that smoky makeup suits you better. Su Yu's one sentence completely ruined the atmosphere. Security, please help me get this person out of here, thank you. As soon as Huamin and Su Yu exchanged words, everyone burst out laughing. Of course, he wasn't really going to ask Su Yu to leave. It was just that the way he spoke was simply driving people crazy. Ha! Lord Su, you're a high-class hater. Tang Chuan laughed until his stomach hurt. I'm just stating facts. I'm not that fake. I won't flatter you. Telling the truth is not the same as not knowing how to talk. You're just asking for a beating. After fooling around for a while, they entered the venue one after another. It was about to start when Huamin saw Jixin and his mother arrive. Why are you so late? Don't talk about it. When we went to pick you up, she said something came up at the last minute, like she was pregnant or something. She said she didn't need to go to the hospital, so it took a long time. There was even a traffic jam on the way from her house. Mom, your dress is beautiful. Huamin asked someone to prepare dresses for Jixin and his mother in advance. I can't believe you chose such a brightly colored dress for me. Although Yang Meirong said that, she was still in a good mood. Huamin was worried that she wouldn't wear it, but to his surprise, she actually did. She wore a bright red velvet qipao, a classic Chinese style. It was very beautiful and classy. No one would dare to call Yang Meirong a commoner. Jing Jixin, on the other hand, wore a sapphire vest, suit pants, and black leather shoes. He looked much more mature. Hurry up and go in, you and Mom can sit in the second row. Okay, thanks sis, I love you. Jing Jixin and his mother also entered the venue. Huamin also walked in and bumped into Qin Chu, who had just arrived as well. The venue was too cold, especially in the first row. Huamin shivered from the cold. Qin Chu quietly took off his jacket and put it on Huamin. The two of them sat in the first row, arm in arm, and watched the performance. Honey. Yeah. Are your parents here? Huamin didn't seem to see Qin Chu's parents, so he couldn't help but feel a little strange. Chapter 748. I didn't ask them to come. I don't think that's a good idea. The 30th anniversary is very important to your dad. Huamin was a little surprised. My dad gave up because he was afraid that my mom would come and cause a scene, so they didn't come. I'm sorry. Huamin felt bad, so she reached out and grabbed Qin Chu's hand. Why are you apologizing? He looked at her gently. If it weren't for me, you wouldn't have such a tense relationship with them. You can't even come to the 30th anniversary. You don't have to apologize, dummy. I don't care if I have to bear a bad reputation for the rest of my life for you. Qin Chu never thought that what he did for Huamin was wrong. Plus, he wasn't unfilial to his parents. Their relationship was just a little tense. Her father already understood Huamin and accepted her, so she didn't want to bring negative news to GK. Qin Yumin flew out of the city today and went to the States. Her mother was throwing a tantrum at home, crying and yelling. She even wanted to come to the concert, but thankfully, Qin Chu arranged for her to be grounded. Four bodyguards were standing outside the Qin manor. Mrs. Qin screamed and yelled like a crazy woman, crying and making a scene. However, she still couldn't walk out of the Qin manor. This was the first anniversary celebration Qin Chu prepared since he became the president, and he didn't want anything to go wrong. He had already seen his mother's incomprehension. That was why he came up with this plan. At 9:30 p.m., the performance officially began. The famous male and female hosts walked onto the stage and gave a wonderful opening speech. Then, they started singing and dancing. The sound in the venue was excellent, comparable to that of a big concert venue. "Honey, how much do we have to pay the hotel for a performance like this?" Huamin always thought that the Ritz-Carlton was too expensive. Although the environment was good and everything was good, the price of a normal room was over 1,900 yuan, even during the off-season. Now that so many people from GK came to live and eat here, and then perform in such a big venue. Wouldn't that be astronomical? It's free. Did they sponsor it? Huamin was surprised. No, I bought them. Alright. Tycoon, you're really capricious. Huamin finally understood why so many meetings were held at the Ritz-Carlton. It turned out that Qin Chu had bought this place, and it now belonged to GK. This was the first time she had heard Ni Yang sing live, and she was surprised to find that his singing was very good. It wasn't the kind of Korean songs and dances that she couldn't understand. It was just simple Mandarin, and the style of the song was a folk song. Ni Yang was holding a simple wooden guitar, playing and singing at the same time. From the moment he stepped onto the stage, the entire audience screamed uncontrollably. Looks like he really is a popular idol. That song is called Warm. Huamin listened attentively and was very touched. Chu Feng was very sad. She knew that Ni Yang had always lacked the warmth of a mother. Mo Shui was amazing. She danced a jazz dance and sang an English song. The atmosphere exploded. Then, a famous Beijing opera actress appeared. Although Huamin did not understand, he still listened attentively. She sang about the story of Liangzhu, and it was very exciting. The senior city council leaders sitting in the first row couldn't help but clap. Looking back at the second row, Huamian's mother was crying. It seemed like the older generation really missed the story. During halftime, Annie Liang and 3 other GK artists, 2 men and 2 women, sang a song with a clear theme called The Taste of Summer. Then, there was the performance of famous domestic comedians. Everyone was very engrossed in the performance, and 10 national TV stations broadcasted it. 16 local channels all came to the venue to broadcast it live. The scene was unprecedentedly grand. Halfway through the show, the viewership reached 29.8%. It was an unprecedented viewership. After all of the guests finished performing, there was a live interaction segment. Maybe it was because Jean Lan was close to Su Yu. Therefore, she directly handed the microphone to Su Yu, who was sitting in the first row. "President Su, as your competitor, do you have anything to say to us?" "I want to sing a song, is that okay?" Su Yu slowly stood up. As soon as Su Yu finished speaking, the entire venue became restless. Everyone was shocked because no one had ever heard Lord Su sing before. Chapter 749. Su Yu had been at Imperial Star for many years, but he had never sung or performed. Even at Imperial Star's anniversary party, he had never sung a single line. But today, he actually said that he wanted to sing. Jean Lan looked at Qin Chu, who was beside her, awkwardly. Qin Chu nodded his head in agreement. He was never that petty. If Su Yu wanted to sing, he would let him sing. Let's see what he could do. Huamin was also slightly surprised. Su Yu wanted to sing. Why? She didn't understand. Jiang Xiaowei whispered to Wei Liao, "I have a feeling that this song will have something to do with Huamin." No way. If it's that explicit, the media will write nonsense about it. He's crazy, he's crazy. Lord Su is crazy. Tang Chuan couldn't stay calm anymore. However, no one was able to stop him from doing this crazy thing. The celebrities backstage couldn't stay calm either. As the big boss of the media, Suyu had always been the god of wealth and god in the eyes of the celebrities. Annie Liang had been an imperial star for many years, but she had never heard Suyu sing. Tang Chuan and Wei Liao often went to nightclubs with him, but they had never heard him sing either. Wei Liao had always thought that Suyu was tone deaf. President Su is going to sing. I'm looking forward to it. Backstage, Annie Liang took a sip of water and smiled. Suyu can sing. That's weird. Ni Yang also asked a lot of questions in the waiting room. Everyone was confused by Suyu's actions. In front of the TV, Lady Su slowly sipped her tea and watched the TV. Her son was so stupid that he had to do such a thing in front of so many people. As a mother, she hadn't heard her son sing for many years, but she knew that he wanted to sing because the girl he liked was sitting in the first row. Suyu was wearing a white suit and looked very handsome. After he walked up the stage, he walked directly to the white tripod piano in the corner. Then, he slowly sat down. Fuck. Lord Su wants to play the piano. Tang Chuan cursed again. Wei Liao was speechless. Wasn't he bewitched by someone? I suspect. Don't tell me that none of you have seen him play the guqin. Jiang Xiaowei asked suspiciously. Wei Liao spread out his hands. In fact, we didn't even know that this guy could play the piano. Suyu sat in front of the piano and took a deep breath. Then, he glanced at Huamin, who was sitting in the first row. That gaze seemed to contain 1,000 words. Then, a beautiful melody resounded throughout the entire venue. Everyone held their breaths as they waited for the Crown Prince's performance. I want to see you laugh. I want to play with you. I want to hold you in my arms. 1 second, they were arguing with each other, and the next second, they were making up. I'm not afraid of you crying, I'm not afraid of you screaming, because you are my pride. I chase after you with my eyes, but my heart is already prepared for you. Just once is enough. I'll take you to see the end of the world, and laugh on a sunny day. I'll make noise in the free air. Do you know the only thing I want? The world is still small. I'll accompany you to the ends of the earth, and stop searching in a corner without worries. I'll slowly grow old in a carefree time. Do you know my heart beats with you? Suyu closed his eyes and played the piano affectionately. His gentle voice spread to every corner. He didn't lose to those superstars at all. The song, Just Once, was played by Suyu to the extreme of gentleness. Huamin suddenly felt a sour feeling in her heart, as if something was blocking her heart. She wasn't thinking too much. She knew that Suyu wanted to confess to her. She just didn't expect him to present it in such a way. It was indeed shocking. Mian, if I didn't come back and you met Suyu, would you still wait for me? Qin Chu's voice sounded in her ears. Chapter 750. To be honest, when Huamin first started dating Ning Ziyuan, she was very polite to her. The two of them never did anything intimate. Ning Ziyuan always wanted to get married, but Huamin kept delaying it. Even though she no longer had any fantasies about Qin Chu, she still didn't want to get married just like that. Later on, she realized that somewhere in her heart, she had been waiting for a certain someone to come back. It was just that those feelings were suppressed in the bottom of her heart, so she couldn't see it clearly. Later on, Qin Chu suddenly came back to China without any warning. That domineering kiss at the class reunion, that completely ignited the desire in her heart. She loved Qin Chu. She had loved him for the past 7 years. Previously, she had no choice but to give up due to the pressure and helplessness of reality. If she was given another chance to choose again, she still wouldn't forget Qin Chu. Because he was too important to her. He was so important that he occupied her entire teenage years. I will, Huamin said as she tightly held on to Qin Chu's hand. The two of them looked at each other and smiled. That warm gaze was more than 1,000 words. The moment Suyu raised his head, he happened to see this scene. At that moment, he felt like a part of his heart was slowly being torn apart. It hurt so much that he couldn't breathe. It was only because he appeared late that he became the supporting male lead. He was so outstanding and so affectionate. He knew that his feelings for Hwamin weren't any less than Chin-chu's. However, he still couldn't receive her love, not even a loving smile. Everything Siyu did couldn't compare to Chin-chu's gentle gaze. He suddenly felt like he was the most pitiful person in the world, at least at this moment. As he played the piano, he raised his head and looked up. He tried to stop the sour tears from flowing down from the corners of his eyes. Wei Liao also felt conflicted as he watched from below. What a sin! Why did he fall for her? This is probably fate. Jiang Xiaowei also sighed. At this moment, she realized how deep Su Yu's obsession with Hwamin was. It was so deep that he was willing to sing for her in front of everyone. It was so deep that even though he knew he was being tortured by Hwamin and Chin-chu, he still didn't hesitate. He insisted on playing the last piece of the song. Then, he stood up and gracefully bowed. The audience erupted into thunderous applause. President Su's voice isn't bad, and your playing is quite good as well. You really have a lot of hidden skills. Ni Yang sighed. President Su, singing such a love song, what's the meaning of this song? Is he confessing to someone? The celebrities backstage were all discussing it. Annie Liang rolled her eyes in disdain and said, no one, it can't be that bitch Jian Tong. She pretends to be all high and mighty, but she's still hooking up with Siyu behind his back. Otherwise, she wouldn't be where she is today. She's slept with. She's not much better than that bitch Xiao Qingya. The #1 sister of Imperial Star Entertainment had been fighting amongst themselves for years, so the whole world knew that Annie Liang didn't like Jian Tong and Xiao Qingya. Everyone knew that Annie Liang had a sharp tongue, so they didn't want to argue with her. No one said anything. In front of the TV, Lady Su was wiping her eyes with a tissue. Madam, are you okay? The maid carefully walked over. I'm fine. Something got in my eye, but I'm fine now. Do you need me to get you some eye drops? No, I'm fine. Lady Su watched the live broadcast with tears in her eyes. Her son was such a domineering and arrogant man, but one day, he fell in love with a girl. He was willing to shamelessly express his love to her, even though he knew it wouldn't work. This silly child was similar to her when she was young. Once he fell in love, he went crazy. Thank you for your performance, President Su, it was amazing. Now, let's begin our last performance. Let's welcome President Qin and Lady Qin. Us? Hwamin wasn't prepared for this and was a little dumbfounded. Chin-chu held her hand and walked onto the stage under everyone's watchful eyes. At that moment, the entire place went dark, and only a beam of light shone on them. It was extremely bright. Chapter 751. The band began to play a live symphony in the dark. It was a beautiful waltz called Perunakabisa. It was a piece with a violin as the main theme. It was very grand and romantic. The way he chose this song was very much like Chin-chu's. He had the style of a king and was very domineering. Hwamin used to love this song as well. It was her first time listening to it live, and it was so good. You want to dance? Hwamin was a little surprised as she looked at Chin-chu. Chin-chu smiled but didn't say anything. Instead, he made an inviting gesture. Damn it, why didn't he tell her in advance? They didn't even rehearse. But there were so many people watching. Hwamin had no choice but to carefully reach out her hand and accept his invitation. Chin-chu held her hand with one hand and wrapped his other arm around her waist. Then, they slowly danced. He leaned close to her face and whispered in her ear, "Don't be scared, Hwamian. Just dance like we do at home, relax. I'll deal with you when we get home," Hwamin said angrily as she clenched her teeth. Chin Chu looked at her and couldn't help but smile. To the people below the stage, their actions looked like they were intimate and loving. The Chin clan couple has been torturing single people for 30 years. In the past, they only tormented the two of us, but now they're torturing hundreds of people. This was Gao Ran's exclamation. I think it's more like Chin Chu is declaring his territorial sovereignty to Su Yu. Haha, that song just now was good. Even though it was very emotional and beautiful, Mr. Chin's waltz basically destroyed Su Yu. Zhu Lingling was a fan of Chin Chu, so she was always on his side. Needless to say, Gao Ran was Chin Chu's best friend. After Su Yu got off the stage, he sat beside Wei Liao and quietly watched Chin Chu and Huamin waltz intimately. Why are you doing this? You should have expected this outcome. Wei Liao felt that Su Yu was being irrational. In Chin Chu's territory, no matter what he did, he would not win. With Chin Chu's intelligence, he could win back the sovereignty in a matter of seconds. Unexpectedly, Su Yu just replied quietly, I didn't think that much. I just wanted to sing a song for her. Yes, he did not intend to confess, nor did he intend to show off to Chin Chu. He really wanted to sing a song for Huamin and play the piano for her. However, he never had the chance. Huamin would never give him the chance. Therefore, he took this rare opportunity to perform. Therefore, he did not think too much about it. He also knew that Chin Chu would not back down. For this waltz, most people had forgotten about Su Yu's performance just now, therefore, what he did was really meaningless. However, what he wanted was very simple. As long as Huamin heard it, as for what other people said, he did not care. He really did not care. Jiang Xiaowei sat on the other side of Wei Liao and heard their conversation clearly. At this moment, she was no longer a fan of Su Yu. In the past, she had a bad impression of Su Yu. She always thought that he was a prodigal playboy who only knew how to eat, drink, and gamble. Now, it seemed that he was not. His love for Huamin was very restrained. It was the kind that made him feel wronged. After the waltz, Chin Chu took a bow with Huamin, then, he took the microphone from the host, Jin Lan, and said gracefully, Thank you to all the guests here today. Thank you to President Su of Imperial Star for your impromptu performance. I am very grateful for everything that I have now. I am very grateful to GK for 30 years, and grateful to my wife, Huamin. Chin Chu's simple words weren't fake or official, they were sincere and touching. He held Huamin's hand and walked off the stage. The audience once again burst into thunderous applause. President Chin loves his wife so much. Wow, I'm so jealous. His wife must have saved the galaxy in her past life. Backstage, the celebrities were also very envious. Everyone in GK knew that President Chin was protective of his wife, so it was nothing new. The 4-hour ceremony finally came to an end. When all the guests appeared, more than a dozen reporters surrounded Su Yu. President Su, today is your first time singing, and you even sang a love song. Who did you sing for? Are you going to announce your relationship? President Su. President Su, are you hinting that you already have someone you like? As expected, Su Yu's performance attracted a lot of attention. They all wanted to know who the lucky woman was. You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.